YouTube. And please don't go anywhere because you've got two options. Portia on. Have a great day, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Hey there, happy Thursday. I'm Eric Perry. Good to have you with us on this 1 p.m. live stream during this hour here. Hey, we are almost until Friday. Can't believe we have made it through yet another week. The month is going by so fast. We're following several developing stories here. First, we want to talk to you about a special session that's really been the big news that we've been following, as Governor Kemp has ordered a special session for the Georgia General Assembly there to redraw the state's congressional map, the state representative and the state Senate districts here. Here's what we know. This was signed yesterday. It directs lawmakers to convene June 17th. That's when it will begin. And this session will focus on revising Georgia's electoral boundaries. Now, this is all coming in light of the recent U.S. Supreme Court decision in Louisiana that they just decided with recently. So we've been seeing different states coming into it. Earlier, we had heard that Governor Kemp wasn't going to make any changes this year, so this would apply for the 2028 election season. But this is who it will really impact here, and it is out of Southeast Georgia here, the Democratic U.S. Representative Sanford Bishop, which is one of the last rural majority black districts in the Deep South. Now, transparency, I reached out to his office in D.C. to see if he would talk with us during this hour. We are still awaiting to hear back there, but of course we've been getting a flood of statements coming in all throughout on both sides here. As when it comes to the Georgia Republican Party chairman, Josh McCoon, he says the Supreme Court decision is, quote, clear. They say that we can't have these racially gerrymandered maps anymore. They're illegal. So that comes from that particular the Republican side. Now, it says if there was an aggressive gerrymander pursued in the summer session, what that could mean is that that's the only majority black districts and only reliable Democratic districts in the entire state. We talked with a political analyst when it came to that. Now, listen to the state senator minority leader Harold Jones II. He says, quote, we are now in a fight that we thought was over. We thought was fought in the 50s and 60s, and that's our fight. So we're hearing from both sides when it comes to that. Again, we did reach out to the Representative Bishop Sanford's office, who is in South Georgia. If we hear back or if he agrees to an interview to talk with us a little bit about it, we'll be sure to let you know. I also reached out to Senator Warnock's office as well. He declined an interview for right now. We know that he'll be speaking sometime tonight at a public event there, and his team says he's sure we'll talk about this one. So we'll work to see if our assignment desk can send someone to talk a little bit more about that. So let's talk about ICE, a social circle. We've been talking about that facility, that detention facility there. They have now filed a lawsuit on behalf of the social circle to halt the federal government's plan to convert a local warehouse into a 10,000-bed immigration detention facility without required environmental review, planning, or coordinating with the community. They're saying that this will bring in more people than already lives right there in that particular facility there. So there's a law firm that is representing Social Circle. Our Tara Jabor is talking and following up on that one. She's been really diligent on this big fight there, so we'll see her a little bit later in our next hour as well. Well, closer to home, we want to take you to DeKalb County, where one person is dead, another person is behind bars. This is in a stabbing incident that happened around 11:30 last night here. We know one person is dead, and again, another person is injured here. We'll come back live. I don't believe this is the correct video in this particular one. We had some scene video for you there. Here's what we know. We know that one person was detained here. The medical examiner was on the way. And we know from DeKalb County Police, this happened on 3 Tree Oaks Bend. When they got there, they had found a 38-year-old victim, David Bowman, who was pronounced dead there on the scene. An 18-year-old, Courtney Estrada, at a nearby location. Courtney is a man here, and took him into custody. He's facing murder charges, and that investigation continues there. We want to bring in Cal Calloway, who is at our assignment desk. And Cal, a lot of stories that we are working on. Let's start with what Doug Evans is working on with card scammer. Really scary situation there.
It is a scary situation. Good afternoon, Eric. The Hogansville Police Department has gone on social media, specifically Facebook, to try to warn residents about this skimming situation. You're seeing image of the Facebook page right there. It's a fraud alert. What they have learned is there was a credit card skimmer that was located at the Dollar General store in Hogansville. That's off of Highway 29. What police say in their alert, they don't know how long that skimmer has been in place. So what they're encouraging any customers of that store who have used a credit card or a debit card at that store to monitor their bank accounts and their credit card statements, to look out for any unauthorized purchases or any kind of suspicious activity. Doug's going to be talking, in fact, to the police chief in about 1:30 this afternoon. We'll hear more from him on that this afternoon. Also in West Georgia, west of Atlanta, this is a story involving the city of Tallapoosa, which is near the Alabama state line. The city has annexed 1,000 acres of land. They're combining that with 600 acres of land that they already had in place to try to attract new business, specifically either a new industry or a data center. And it's the idea of a data center that has some residents upset there. In recent days, a group of residents went before the Tallapoosa City Council to speak out against any kind of idea that could bring a data center to that city. The City Council went ahead and unanimously passed the annexation anyway. So Kevin Stewart's going to be examining both sides of that issue for us this afternoon. And finally, if you've been in Atlanta for some time, for more than 30 years, the Universal Circus has been a mainstay in South Atlanta. You'll see the circus located over in the old Turner Field area. Well, now the circus is doing something they've never done before. They're handing out college scholarships to 5 deserving college students. These are students at one of the 5 historically Black colleges or universities in the city of Atlanta. $2,500 scholarships. And one will go to a student at Spelman, one to Morehouse College, one to Clark Atlanta, one to Morehouse School of Medicine, and finally one at Morris Brown. Angelique Proctor is talking to circus officials about that. I believe she's also talking to some of those deserving students who've gotten some help to continue their college education. And those are just some of the stories we're working on this afternoon for you, Eric.
Yeah, Cal, you know how they say, maybe like Universal Circus is how they always say if you go to it. It's always a really fun event. And of course, Atlanta has so many HBCUs, so it's good to see that they're giving back. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, other stories that we are following today. I'm going to give you a brief headline. I'm looking over to my right. We're working to get you a live image as we're learning about a shooting investigation in Southeast Atlanta. Our Chris Lawson is out there now. Wanted to give you a heads up. We'll check back in a little bit throughout this, but right now we know that it is somewhere on Conley Drive, I believe, Conley Road in Southeast Atlanta, 875 there, and they're investigating what they're calling a fatal shooting investigation. Again, we'll get you a live look a little bit later throughout this show here. All right, we want to take you now to what's called the Steal Across America. It's a major 911 remembrance celebration or remembrance event there, as the Tunnel to Towers Steal Across America tour is stopping at the Home Depot headquarters. Of course, we're remembering 9/11 there. And Chris, I see it behind you. That's happening. It's such a solemn piece of history, unfortunately, that is, we can all remember where we were on 9/11. If you were alive to remember it then, walk us through the importance of it and the Home Depot connection as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is here at the Home Depot headquarters, and Home Depot is a big supporter for over a decade for the Tunnels to Tower Foundation. That foundation started by the family of Stephen Sillers. Stephen Siller was a firefighter who died on 9/11. One of about 345 firefighters who died on 9/11. But this is one of the, this is actually a a pillar, a beam from World Trade Center, about over 10,000 pounds. It is on tour across the country and stopping here in Atlanta. And, you know, people are encouraged to come. Members of Home Depot Associates encouraged to come, look at it, take a look, touch it. And I've got John Carroll here. He is with Tunnels to Tower Foundation. And tell me a little bit about this beam and why it's here today, why this is important.
This beam is traveling the country on a Never Forget tour. And it's going to be the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And on that horrific day when we were attacked and we lost 343 firefighters, 27 police officers, we lost close to 3,000 people altogether. And what we want to make sure is that the families who lost their loved ones, for those who sacrificed so much for us that particular day, we want to make sure that their memories are ingrained into people's minds forever, that they shall never forget. It gives some closure to families because the spirits of the bodies that were never found, we had like 1,077 people that were never recovered. And this gives some closure to some of the people knowing that their DNA and their spirits is in this steel. This steel shall go around the country, and it is to show people the good that came out of the bad, what Tunnels to Towers Foundation has done to make the lives of our veterans and first responders that sacrificed so much for us. It's going to allow to give a little dignity and a little independence back into their lives with the home building that we do, the different programs that we have to serve our veterans, to serve our first responders. So this piece of steel will never let people forget, and it will just be a reminder that we have to continue to do good.
And of course, Home Depot is a big donor for you guys, a big part of what helps make some of your efforts possible, huh?
Yes, Home Depot has been a tremendous supporter of Tunnel to Towers. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do the things we do. We are forever grateful for their participation and allowing us to be a partner with them when it comes to taking care of our veterans and first responders. Also, we're building villages all across the country for our homeless veterans. And Home Depot has been a huge part of all of this, and just a tremendous partnership, and we're very proud to be with them during our tour to make everybody's lives easier.
When you take this beam across, we can walk up a little closer to it. When you take this beam across the country, I mean, what's the reaction when people come look at it?
You know, a lot of people never got to see this up close, and you can just imagine there was over 175,000 tons of steel, and when the buildings collapsed, and this just shows a small little piece of what was really at the site that all the first responders and people had to deal with. People missing for almost a whole year, and the people that were found, the ones who perished, it allowed us to give some closure to some of the families, but at the same time, for those that weren't found, there is spirit living within these I-beams that allow people to see the sacrifices that everybody made that day.
That's an incredible memorial, and I hear, you know, the people here, I mean, you're encouraging people to not just look at it, but touch it, huh?
Yes. Yeah. People have a way of coming through, and spiritually they get attached. They can be touching it and feel their loved ones. Others, they can just stay you know, a little bit of a distance, and they can pray for all the loved ones that were lost that day. And it basically just never forget. And for Tunnel to Towers, you know, we have a program where you can donate $11 a month, and the good that comes out of that $11 a month allows us to take care of catastrophically injured veterans. It allows us to take care of fallen first responders, Gold Star families, and our homeless veterans. It is people all across the country that allow us to do this.
Well, it's a good cause, and this beam here, it's making its way across the country. Again, it's here at the Home Depot headquarters for an event here, and then it's traveling on to Florida next, I believe, and across the country, and just with that message of never forget.
Rosenthal, thank you so much. Can't believe we were saying over here 25 years since that incident happened. So many of us, we remember exactly where we were. A piece of history, unforgettable. We didn't want that to happen, but it's always important to remember the lives that we lost during that event now. All right, we want to take a turn now and bring in now the chief meteorologist, Joanne Feldman. Congratulations on her new title there, taking over for David Chanley as she walks us through the forecast for the rest of the day and, of course, as we go into the weekend.
I'm Fox 5 Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Joanne Feldman here, taking you through the afternoon forecast. And if you stepped outside at all this morning, but especially going into the afternoon, what you're noticing is a breeze that's gotten progressively stronger. This is because a cold front came through yesterday. It's not a wind that's going to be at a concerning level, but it's definitely a noticeable part of our forecast. We've been watching some of these sustained wind speeds around 10 to 15 miles an hour, but some of our higher gusts are already peaking over 20 miles an hour. That's something that can continue right on into the afternoon here. I mentioned it was a cold front that set all of this in motion. And as expected, unfortunately, that front, when it came by last night, was not much of a rainmaker. It just squeezed out a few sprinkles here and there. That's going to shut down our rainfall chances probably until the middle part of next week. High pressure will be the story instead. And it makes for a beautiful stretch of weather, but it also keeps us in this rainfall deficit and the drought conditions across the state where it would really be nice to get some bigger improvements. Now, as far as temperatures are going to be around lunchtime and then heading into the afternoon, we're still holding on to temperatures near 70 or below, but throughout the afternoon, they'll rise a bit higher into the 70s. Fact of the matter is they are not going to hit the average highs in the low 80s. I want to give you an update on the drought. We did get new information in this morning. And my apologies here. It shouldn't say as of May 5th. It should say as of May 11th. Each week we get an update on Thursday that accounts for all the rain that fell through the previous Tuesday. So this does cover some of the rain that we've picked up in the last week. But here's the good news, if there's a silver lining in this. Our drought has not worsened, but it really hasn't gotten much better. Last week we had held steady from the previous week. This week we've got the most minor improvements. It's not helpful, but just some changes here that we've seen. The severe, extreme, and exceptional categories of drought have now come down by about a percentage point. But with no significant rain in our forecast until next week, I would expect that next week map looks worse than this one does. After a high of 81 degrees on Wednesday, that's average. We're going to trade that in for mid-70s this afternoon. Records, though, this time of year are near or above 90, and we could tie a record by Sunday. But first up is this. Sunshine and mid to upper 70s. We'll keep it clear tonight. The winds that are breezy throughout the afternoon are going to die down a bit. Just brace yourselves for the chill that's in place briefly tomorrow morning. We've got a lot of focus on this big warming trend, but the morning hours tomorrow might catch you off guard if you're not ready for that cooler start. We're going to rebound nicely from that anyway. It'll get up to 80 degrees for Friday afternoon. And there's the weekend warm up. A certain amount of cloudiness Saturday might keep us from breaking records Saturday, but Sunday is a record tying number and will remain close to 90 next week. But the next chance of rain is not until Wednesday.
Chief Joanne Feldman, thanks so much. This is a live look here in Southeast Atlanta. I told you about it, and you're moving around here because this is a live look. Our photographer, Chris Lawson, is there on the scene in Southeast Atlanta. This is on Conley Street, where we know there is an investigation underway here. Looks like investigators are talking with a possible witness there. We know it's a fatal shooting investigation. First, we thought it was just a body that was being found. Those investigators coming in and out of that tape here. Again, this is a live look for you as we're following breaking news in Southeast Atlanta. This is our photographer on the scene. That's why you're seeing the shifty and moving, quick movements there. He's trying to capture the scene as best as possible. We'll continue to follow this story as we learn more information. When we come back, we're talking about mental health. There's a new facility and a new clinic that is opening up. We'll have a conversation with one of the organizers about Saturday's event. Then we'll also take you into some of the trending topics and some of the other top stories we're following. You're watching Fox 5 News Live, 1 p.m. We'll be right back. back. It's 1:20 on this Thursday. It is a busy Thursday. It is. Let's get you out to a live look. This is Flagler Ave, but of course we recognize the belt line there. You can see the police tape. Here is what we know. There's a possible stabbing investigation that they are working there. Looks like behind some houses as well. Again, this is a live look from Sky Fox 5 there of a possible stabbing. We're going to be very careful with what we show you here. Of course, this is between the police tape. So we're looking at these images together from up above, a bird's eye view here. Again, this is Flagler, but of course, this is the belt line here. We'll continue to follow this. Again, we're following a shooting investigation. This is separate there. As we zoom in, we can see the police tape. This is a stabbing investigation, which is separate, which is on the belt line. That looks like to be some blood and different belongings there. So in my experience, what they do is they'll treat the patient, then they'll take the patient usually to Grady Hospital as police are working to investigate that scene. When we get new information, of course, we'll be the first to let you know here on Fox 5 News Live. All right, we told you about a mental health clinic that is opening up this weekend. I want to bring in Terry Lee, who is an organizer with it. First of all, good to have you with us. Talk about the importance of mental health. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Eric. So the importance of mental health is important for all of Americans, especially us in Georgia. And the Cathedral of Faith Church of God in Christ is partnering with the Well, which is a mental health clinic, and we are opening up. We're having a grand opening on Saturday, our mental health clinic in Southwest Atlanta. We are so excited about this mental health clinic. Over the last year and a half, we have hosted educational workshops and seminars for people in the Southwest Atlanta community, specifically Oakland City, and we are preparing to open up the clinic to continue our progressive increase in services, from group therapy to continued community empowerment sessions on the importance of mental health, as well as other one-on-one services as we continue to grow.
A stigma around mental health, especially in the African American community. How are you guys breaking down that stigma to talk about the importance of it and the importance of getting help out there?
Yeah, so our first session was actually mental health myth busting. It was a session where we taught the community how to decipher whatever their need was around mental health. And so in addition to that, we plan to offer services that are low to no cost because we understand that a lot of African Americans are encountered with the decision between whether they should get mental health treatment or whether they should buy groceries. So we want to offer services that are low to no cost to give people access to the services that they may need.
People who utilize the services, what do you hope they ultimately take away? Of course, you know, you want them to get treatment or the help that they need. Outside of that, what do you hope families will take away ultimately from this facility being there?
Hope. We are a hope dealer. The name of the building actually is Saturday. We're also renaming the building to the Well of Hope at the Willis House. We want to be a well of hope. We want to be a hope-centered organization that can share hope not only with those in our community, but with Atlanteans and Georgians.
Ultimately, so what can we expect on Saturday on the grand opening? Any festivities? And we're going to run the banner or the flyer that you guys provided there for the ribbon cutting. What are some of the things that people who come out, families that will come out Saturday, what will they experience?
Sure. We plan to give tours of the actual facility, provide resources for those who may need immediate services and avenues for folks to get services. In addition to the mental health clinic opening, we're also opening a community development corporation, which will provide services such as business development classes and resume writing, job readiness courses. And so we're inviting everyone out to come and be a part. We'll have lots of resources. We'll have food, photos. It'll just be a good time of fun and resources for everyone.
All right, Terry Lee, we'll put more information on our website. It is from 11 to 1 here as the opening. It's going to be so instrumental. It's so important. Mental health, something, for a very long time we don't talk about. It's the Well of Hope at the Willis House there, Avon Avenue, Southwest Atlanta. We appreciate you coming on. It's a topic that, a lot of people shy away from. So it's so good to see, especially churches, embracing this topic, as difficult as it can be.
Thank you so much.
All right, Terry, thanks so much. All right, if we can, let's go back to that chopper shot here. We had a question from one of our viewers. We want to be very clear here. There are two separate incidents that we are working on. This is Flagler, where there is a stabbing that is on the Beltline. The first image that we shot and told you about is in Southeast Atlanta, where there was a shooting. So right now, we believe those are two separate incidents. If we learn anything further, we'll be sure to let you know. But right now, this is a stabbing investigation on Flagler Avenue, a tongue twister there. And then the other investigation that we are following is a shooting investigation that's on Conley Road. That's in Southeast Atlanta. From the images, it does not appear to be on the Beltline, as this is directly on the Beltline and in that path. We appreciate the questions there. You can join in the conversation. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. We are there for you. We'll keep our eye on this. That was Skyfox 5 with the bird's eye view above it. All right, want to bring in Maria Guzman, who is in Winder. There's something called the Branch Resiliency Center. It's for trauma recovery. I know you're new to the Fox 5 Atlanta team, but so many of us were here for the Appalachia High School. I spent 8-9 hours out there talking to those devastated parents and students. Walk us through how this will help those impacted and the ultimate goal as they heal, and it's going to be a long road ahead for them, Maria.
Hi, Eric. Yes, and good afternoon. This center is all about long-term recovery and also just resilience, right? Just getting back up after a very tragic event. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around because I want you guys to see this center as I'm inside. And this building actually had some students when the school was shut down for a bit. So these classes had some students. So now they're flipping the script and it's becoming a center for healing. And with me, I do have Scott, who is here with the Ministry Village. And the Ministry Village worked hand in hand with Branch to make this happen. So Scott, just thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate y'all being here too.
Yeah, so just walk us through this room that's right behind you, right? It's the gathering room.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
The purpose is going to serve to bring long-term recovery.
Yes, ma'am. This is one of the many rooms we have in here. This is a gathering room. We're able to do group stuff in here. It's also a place to just kind of, be with each other when we need to. And there'll be a lot of healing for a long time in this.
And for just when we talk about long-term recovery, right, rebuilding, how does that look like?
So when an event like this happens, it is not a healing overnight, and it takes a long time. And we are lucky and blessed to be in Barrow County, where the community has come together in so many different ways. And in this building, what we're going to do is we're going to be here for the long haul with them. Our prayer is that we're here for years and years to come as people suffer and go through it, and we offer them different opportunities. It's mental health is a big part of it, but it's not just mental health. There are people that lose their jobs and everything else in this. So
as we were chatting, you mentioned how you arrived, to the scene, to the school, and you have seen this community the past year and 8 months. So how is the community now? Where are we now as you talk to the students, to the families, to the teachers?
Yes, ma'am. I see the community is actually building strength again. We're not going back to normal because that's no longer available, but we're building on to what we are, and the community is coming together saying, no, the shooting is not going to define us. Our healing will define us.
When you spoke with the teachers just days after students, what was the biggest need they told you?
Well, they knew right away that they would need mental health counseling to get over this, to get past this. And so I made them a promise that day that I would do everything I could to make sure they had all the resources for counseling that they needed, and that we'd cover that for them. And so far, we've been able to live up to that.
What do you hope that the students, the family, the teachers who come here, even first responders, just take away once they enter the center?
Well, I hope they take away hope, and I hope they take away that they're not alone. we're here with them, and we're all going to get through this together.
I know this town had a lot of attention on September and just months and weeks after that, but what do you want people to know about your community in this county right here?
Barrow County is one of the most unique counties. We love each other. We work hard with each other. We care for each other. When the chips are down, we're there for each other, and we prove it time and time again.
Yes. And, you know, just why, I know this has been a long time in the works, right? A lot of operation. Why have this here? Why continue the efforts of building that long-term recovery, right, as we approach the second year anniversary?
I think if we truly want to move forward, we need to build this. We need to continue to build our resources and continue to be here for people. This is stuff that'll affect people 10 years down the road. Some people may not even notice effects until they'll have them, but they won't pay attention. So being here for the long term and making us a community that's stronger. The stronger we are mental health, the stronger we are as workers, the stronger we are as a community, the stronger we are as a people.
We also talked about how it's a ripple effect, right? It's not just the students who are in that school, but around. So what do you see, you know, as you talk to other surrounding counties and schools? Well,
because it happened here, all the communities around us, it happened to them too, in a way. You know, they feel it because they know people here. When you realize that, as an example, the teachers are also a community, and they know other teachers in other counties and different things, and they talk and they share. So we're noticing that people are feeling it, and we're noticing that we're also noticing that they're talking more about mental health and getting help, and that it's okay to get help.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott, for your time. So this center is going to be officially open to the public starting next week. And today was the grand opening. They had a ribbon cutting. So it was just a very exciting day. It was a full house. And here it's all about long-term recovery and healing, Eric.
Yeah, Maria, it is. It's really chilling seeing you walk those walls there. Those students, that community, that area has been through so much. That day in September, we'll never forget. And many of them are still living the after effects of what happened inside those halls. So very important that they're providing that healing and safe space for all of them. Thank you so much. All right, when we come back, we'll stay on top of breaking news. We'll get a check of what is trending, and we'll talk a little bit about a recent graduate. Well, he's a soon-to-be recent graduate at Morehouse College here, and how the Arthur Blank Foundation has helped him throughout his journey. We'll be right back after this break. Hey there, welcome back. I'm Eric Perry on this Thursday. We want to get you updated on something that was supposed to happen. We talked all last week about the I-285 closure. Well, at the last minute, it didn't happen, but it will happen this weekend, according to GDOT, unless they change it again. So the much needed, they're calling it shutdown of I-285. It will happen between MLK Jr. Drive and Cascade Road there. So this will be a complete shutdown, both lanes there. It will not reopen until Monday morning. So full death ground down is what they're calling it. They're saying it's a 60-year-old concrete that must be rebuilt for the lanes rather than simply patching them. Equipment safety, so they have heavy machinery that they're bringing in for all of this, and they're saying in order for the safety of both the workers and the drivers there, they must shut down it entirely. Last weekend, I believe weather played a portion of it. I also believe that because it was Mother's Day, it's by the airport, there was just so much traffic that was out there on the roadway, so they're probably finding that sweet spot between Mother's Day and between Memorial Day when it will happen. Again, this is I-285, so what you can expect is a backup of surrounding areas. So I'm talking I-20, I-75, 85, all of those are expected to have that spillover traffic. Donnelly Hollowell, we're talking Cascade Road, South Fulton Industrial. If you live out in that direction, you don't need to go that particular way. So go ahead and stock up on your groceries now, find something good to watch on television, and, you know, don't even worry about that headache there. All right, let's bring in Sam Daniel here with what's trending, and we're going to start with a Georgia warden or former warden who is now on the other side of the law.
Yeah, this is a crazy story. He is now behind bars. His name is Brian Adams. He was the former warden of the Smith State Prison, which is a little further down south, and prosecutors tell us that he allegedly worked with people already behind bars to smuggle in contraband, and it's all tied to a prison gang. So Adams is 52. He lives in Waycross, and he's accused of using his position to facilitate all that illegal activity involving a specific inmate named Nathan Weeks. And it goes back to a gang known as the YSL Squad, according to prosecutors. Investigators say that he accepted money in exchange for moving Weeks out of solitary confinement, and he allowed contraband to enter the prison. They also say that he laundered money connected to the bribery scheme, and he worked to hide evidence by burying prison shanks and contraband cell phones in his own backyard to obstruct the investigation into the YSL Squad at the prison. That's all according to prosecutors. He's now been arrested and charged, and a grand jury indicted him.
Interesting, you know, no one is above the law, including him. All right, let's talk a little marijuana, weed. Georgia medical cannabis signed into law by the governor.
Yeah, so this really increases the percentage of medical marijuana allowed in Georgia. So the law is called Putting Georgia Patients First Act, and it was passed earlier this year, but yesterday, or on Tuesday actually, Governor Brian Kemp signed the bill, officially putting it into law. And so it removes a previous cap of 5% THC potency on medical products. So now patients are allowed to have up to 12,000 milligrams of medical cannabis if they keep it in labeled pharmaceutical containers. So that's really important there. It has to be in a labeled container. It also broadens the types of weed that dispensaries can sell. They can now sell medical marijuana in edibles, gummies, and vaporized flower. So lots of changes there. And then it also expands the registry for medical marijuana and different types of diseases that can be used for it. That includes now lupus, autism, stage 3 HIV, Alzheimer's disease, sorry, I'm struggling to talk today apparently, Eric, and inflammatory bowel disease. So we talked to a lot of patients who are extremely happy to see these expansions, and if you want to hear from them, you can read all their reactions on fox5atlanta.com.
All right, and finally, you know, I always say these trends that are happening on social media, they're going to get someone killed or behind bars one of these days. This one is not the smartest to do either. Walk us through this.
You know, we've been talking a lot about teen takeovers, Eric. That was one trend that started. Now, the new trend is apparently called Scientology speed runs, and it's where people essentially, I don't want to say break in because Scientologists churches' doors are wide open, but they go into the building without permission, run as quickly as possible through different areas of the church, and then get out. Apparently, according to Sandy Springs Police, that happened here in Metro Atlanta in Sandy Springs back on April 29th. And now a 20-year-old has been charged with disorderly conduct. But the big thing police say, and Fox 5 is not identifying the person because disorderly conduct is a misdemeanor, but police say that they just want people to know that this trend can turn dangerous. They said on social media, quote, while some social media challenges may appear harmless online, unlawfully entering private property can lead to criminal charges and affect unnecessary safety concerns for everyone involved. Now, they're talking about that because in LA, back in April, 2 Church of Scientology staff members were actually injured during one of these. And the church has come out, they've condemned it, and they said that they are working with law enforcement to make sure anybody who participates in one of these trends is prosecuted.
Yeah, I mean, it's just honestly just not smart. I don't know the point of any of this. It doesn't seem fun to me.
Well, and I mean, I get it because I am somebody, I've seen the documentaries. I am very intrigued by Scientology, and it doesn't necessarily match up with my beliefs, but I feel like you got to give them their space to have their beliefs, and you don't need to be barging in because if somebody ran into your house of worship, you're definitely going to be upset.
Yeah, and in today's culture, that's just not something to do, especially with safety and everything. All right, before we go, this is your last time with us. I know you're venturing off into a new chapter, and we just want to wish you well and thank you. I believe this might be your last trending update here, and we just want to send you off with well wishes.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
Sam Daniel, thank you so much here. All right, we want to take a transition there. Arthur Blank, his name, of course, is synonymous here in Atlanta. Everyone knows his name. They know his contributions. Well, he has a 10-year initiative to give back to HBCUs and students that are attending HBCUs. So far, 600 students have received more than $4.2 million in what they're calling gap funding to support the initiative there. It's a 10-year HBCU scholarship initiative, and he's pledged $50 million. And I'm honored to have Javon Feliciano here, who will soon be a Morehouse graduate. First of all, an early congratulations as that is coming up. First of all, walk us through what this scholarship has meant to you and what your HBCU means to you as well.
Thank you, Eric. The Arthur Blank Foundation Scholarship has meant so much to me. I honestly don't know how I would have been able to finish my education at Morehouse College without it. My mother already took on Parent Plus grad loans, which she had used to help pay for my education, which she wasn't approved for further loans. So this scholarship gave me the opportunity not only just to stay in school, but finish strong and graduate on time.
Walk us through the importance of different organizations and people investing in not just the school itself, but the school will be nothing without the people and the students there. How important is that investment?
That investment is super important. Investing, honestly, in youth matters because young people are the future. And I truly believe that return on investment is limitless. We've seen what that investment can do here at Morehouse College, which has produced our 6 Rhodes Scholars, which has produced individuals that have gone on to become doctors, teachers, and lawyers that have gone on into the world to do great things and make a change. And truly that investment is important because it helps brothers like myself at Morehouse who just need an opportunity to achieve their academic and career dreams. And I always tell anyone that wants to invest in young people in our education, give today because the world needs more principled leaders that come from HBCUs like Morehouse, who are building leaders who are steadfast, honest, and true.
You know, some of the numbers here, Clark Atlanta University has helped 200, or the foundation has helped 290 students supported, 1.45 distributed, $1 million. Morehouse, about 115 students. Spelman College, 189 students. People watching this, people watching your story, what do you hope that they take away? What do you hope is the ultimate message that's received?
I truly want them to know that as long as you really put the work in, take your education seriously, and show up, there will always be those that are there to help you along the way. Taking the chance at Morehouse was the biggest investment and the biggest risk that I ever took, but it paid off because it's allowed me not only to graduate, but to receive professional opportunities, to travel the world, where I've had the opportunity to visit Japan and gain a global perspective. So it's truly been a blessing, and I would encourage them to take that chance.
You're just days away from getting your college degree. Walk us through your next steps in life. We wish you well, of course.
Thank you. So upon graduation at Morehouse College, I'll be joining the Cigna Group full-time as a risk and underwriting analyst back home in Connecticut. So it's been a full circle moment for me, not only Cigna being a major corporation back home where I'm from, but also being a corporate sponsor of Morehouse College and supporting the career services as well as just some of the initiatives. So it's important for when corporations and foundations are investing in students that because, an individual like myself can pour right back into them.
All right. Just so you know, we're live on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, and so many people are wishing you well and congratulations on your next step. It's so good to see. We appreciate you coming to talk, of course, about yourself, but just the importance of people giving back to HBCUs and the students there. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All righty. Perfect. All right. We'll be right back after a quick little break. All right, welcome back. I'm Eric Perry during this 1 p.m. hour there. Okay, hard to believe. School is about to be out, and of course, the kids need something to do in the summer. And if you are in Henry County, there is a new aquatic center that is sure to be helpful. Eli Jordan, I hope you have your swimming trunks on. Eli, I'm expecting you to jump in a pool or something, be interactive.
I regret not packing my trunks. I was telling Jonathan Penn, his executive director here, I should have brought my trunks because, this is a heated pool right here. This is just the 25-meter pool, and they got a 50-meter pool over there. And, a lot of people have seen the water park part, all the water slides, so I figured we'd come inside and show where you can have the heated pool and get some therapy going on. And I am with Jonathan Penn, who is the executive director of Leisure and Public Services. Thank you for your time today, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
June 20th.
June 20th, we'll be opening both sides, the aquatic center indoors and the water park will be open.
And that's just right out there for, just give you a lay of the there, and then right inside we got the 50-meter, the full one, 50 meters, the 25 meters here. And so just tell me, $50 million water park, 3 years in the work. It's coming to fruition. I mean, you know, we got crews here putting the final touches, getting the lounge chairs put together and all that. Tell me, how excited are you with the county, you know, and what do you expect on the opening day?
So we're super excited, like extremely excited. Like you said, this is a 3.5 year in the making. We're finally at the finish line. And on opening day, we expect a lot of people here. Like, kids running around everywhere, a lot of crowds.
Screaming, yeah.
Exactly. So we're getting prepared. We're making sure that everyone's safe. We're getting our lifeguards on board, and then we're going to have this thing ready for everyone to come in and have a good time.
Now, when we think about this water park, you know, we've seen a lot of the slides and stuff, but I mean, there's going to be like an opportunities for, like, you know, adults to come out here and chill and relax and get some therapy sessions going on and maybe some swim sessions, right?
Yes. So if you come in and you pay to get into the water park, you also have access to the indoors, both pools, the 25-meter pool and the Olympic-sized 50-meter pool. We'll have different programming eventually as we open up, but definitely you can come in here. This has the ramp in it, so you can have ADA accessibility.
That's right over there. That's really cool. I mean, this is unlike anything in the South Metro.
Oh yeah, nothing like this. You have some places that may have a water park, and some places that may have this, like an indoor pool, but we have every.
And the ADA accessibility, I mean, that's very important for therapies and all that stuff for people that, you know, in the wheelchairs and whatnot. So, swimhenry.com?
Swimhenry.com. You can go there and get all the information you need on pricing, any updates that we have. Go to swimhenry.com and we'll get it together. You'll get all the information you need.
Now, one thing we were talking about earlier, lifeguards. Now, the opportunity for teens to maybe get a summer job. You guys are still looking for lifeguards?
Yes. So if you are 16 or older and you are looking for a summer job, come here and apply, because we will hire you. You will get certified. We're paying for all of all the certifications.
Wow.
So please come here, apply, so that you can get this summer job and have fun at this new facility.
And being a lifeguard is a cool job, believe me. It is. It's a super cool job. And so also, can they go to swimhenry.com to get some information on that?
Yes.
Would you rather come in person?
Swimhenry.com.
And looking for lifeguards. If you know how to swim, even the better, you know.
Yes, sir.
So I guess what other things? I mean, we kind of have some members. Oh yeah, I guess so people know exactly where it is. It's 1177 Henry Parkway Connector.
Henry Parkway Connector. Yes.
And how would you say?
In McDonough, Georgia.
In McDonough, Georgia. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's close to, I guess, the government facilities here.
Yes, it's close to our sheriff office. It's close to I-75 and South Point, where all the shopping centers are. So it's right there in that corridor.
1177 Henry Parkway Connector.
Yes.
And what else we need to talk about? I mean, how much is it going to cost to get in, basically? Say if I have a kid, I want to bring him up here and hang out.
Exactly. So from ages the younger ages to get into the aquatic center is $5 for residents, $10 for non-residents. For adults, teens and adults, it's $10 for residents, $15 for non-residents to get into the aquatic center. Now the water park is $25 for residents, $35 for non-residents, but that gets you in both. So you get into the water park as well as the aquatic center.
So bring your driver's license with you if you want the discount, and also bring your lunch if you want to.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. Jonathan Penn, thank you very much for joining us. And yes, this will be opening June 20th. There's ribbon cutting on the 11th, but June 20th, this place will be a madhouse, packed. Lots of loud noises and splashes and saying, hey, Mom, look at me, look at me. Hey, Mom, look at me. I'll kick it back to you, Eric.
All right, thanks so much. Wonderful out there, and it's so important to introduce kids to water at an early age. Before we get out of here, I want to get you to 2 live images. Let's start. This is the stabbing that we've been following on Flagler Avenue here. As you can see, investigators are there. This was what we showed you earlier, what was believed to be on the belt line here. Atlanta Police confirming for us that someone has been stabbed. We had also seen our chopper at one point. Looks like they were looking for a possible suspect that might have been detained. We're still working to get that confirmed. Again, this is a live look for you of where police have kind of set up a little bit. It looked like we'd seen some higher ups, I believe, Chada Spikes with Atlanta Police. Looks like she was out there at some point. Again, the belt line from our aerial bird's eye view looked to have been shut down in that particular portion. We'll look on a map and we'll try to get you you some sort of a reference as to which portion of the Beltline this is. I see my name next to it in iNews, so I believe I'll be going out there to join Jim Zorn after this streaming here as well. Let's get you to our other breaking news that we've been following. This is a static shock from our Chris Lawson, who is in southeast Atlanta. This is on Conley Road, as we believe a fatal shooting took place there. As you can see, it looks like Conley Super Center and maybe a tire laundry shop or something there for reference. Again, this portion of Conley Road in southeast Atlanta shut down. Someone had asked earlier in the comments there, I know these are two breaking news themes that we've been telling you about, but we believe that they are separate incidents that took place here. Again, this is in southeast Atlanta, where a shooting investigation, and then we're also following a stabbing that took place, we believe, on the Beltline. It's been a busy 1 p.m. hour, but we appreciate you joining us and following us through this 1 p.m. journey. Ariel Onstad or Tom, actually Ariel is coming up next. Someone from Fox 5 will be here in the next hour. We'll see you then.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Arielle Onstadt. We've got a busy Thursday to get to. We're following some items of breaking news, especially as it relates to this situation. Take a live look out near the Atlanta Beltline. Police are investigating a stabbing, and more officials are on the way there to the scene. We hope to be able to give you an update here shortly. Our Eric Perry is on the way, but so far we know at least one person has been stabbed. They say this happened on a popular stretch of the Beltline. They've not confirmed the total number of victims, nor if any suspects have been identified or even taken into custody. But at this point, police are investigating. We're not really sure what part of the Beltline this happened along, but we are told it did happen along a busy stretch. So that is something we're going to continue to keep you updated on. It looks like near Flagler Avenue. So this is part of the southeast corner of that east side Beltline. So we'll keep you updated. And in the meantime, I want to let you know that Atlanta police are also investigating a deadly shooting on Conley Road, and you're taking a live look as our photographer stands back from the scene. You can see the crime scene tape and the police cars. At this point, police are trying to figure out what led up to that gunfire. This happened on the 800 block of Conley Road southeast. When police arrived, they found at least one person dead there on the scene, and there's been a heavy police presence in the area with portions of the road blocked off. So we're going to keep you updated as we get new information, but in the meantime, our Eric Perry is headed out to that situation at the Beltline, and we'll bring you new details as soon as we get them. But let's talk about something that's gotten a lot of attention here, and that would be data centers. In Tallapoosa, a data center has been proposed, a massive 350-acre site, and as you might imagine, there's been some controversy with this proposal. Our Kevin Stewart joins us live to talk about this. Kevin, I understand that the developer may have pulled that proposal. Where do things stand?
Well, let's start with this. For one, we don't know what's going to go on that property. I mean, that's part of the issue here, the fear of the unknown. And what we're talking about is 1,000 acres in Haralson County that was rezoned and annexed into the city of Tallapoosa earlier this week. And what we know is that the city says that it could be for a manufacturing plant, a distribution warehouse, or a data center. And folks here in the community are upset, not just because of the fears that we also hear about regarding data centers with power and water bills and the environment, but also because they had a big public hearing and then the city council voted unanimously without any debate. So people feel like they weren't heard at all. I want you to take a listen to several taxpayers we talked to.
Here all across the country, these data centers are popping up everywhere. People's power bills are going up. They're not seeing a tax change. And I don't think people of Haralson County want a data center.
So let's take the data center out of the picture for a second. There is a social contract between the people and the people who are elected to represent them. Always has been. This, you're seeing it all over the U.S. right now. Data centers are just bringing it to the surface. There's failures in that social contract. Straight up failures. People who are elected, now I'm former military, I swore an oath to this country. People who are elected are servants, not owners, not officials. We love to hear that, right? The public official. There's no such thing as a public official. There's a word for it, but they are all public servants. From what I've seen, in my limited view and my opinion, purely my opinion, this building is not serving its people.
All right, again, so people here that we talked to feel they were not heard. We do have a statement from the city. They didn't grant an interview. It goes, quote, "The community will benefit from a corporation that creates jobs, expands corporate tax base, and inspires ancillary economic growth. No development partners have been contracted." The statement goes on to say the group is committed to only entertaining safe and productive uses of this industrial savvy land. Now, we did talk to another gentleman who has lived here for many years. He's 90 years old. He was extremely upset. We'll have more on that coming up on Fox 5 News at 4, 5, and 6. But he said the environment. He's really concerned about what is this going to do to all the green here, that we shouldn't be thinking about green as in money, but green in terms of the environment. He says this is really hurtful to him personally, particularly for his faith. He believes that people need to really be thinking about the environment. And the woman that you saw there, Megan, she says, this is the country. People want to keep it that way. And so they said they're not going to give up the fight.
Kevin, I'm so appreciative that you continue to do these stories because it's only becoming a bigger issue with the rise of AI. I see so many people talking about this on TikTok, on social media, people in our communities here in North Georgia who are asking really serious questions as to the future of their communities with these data centers. Kevin, you know, it's interesting as well to hear the environmental concerns that gentleman you spoke to, what he brought up, because I've seen some people start to point out we're in this drought here in Georgia, and with the massive amounts of water that AI centers use and pool, is that a contributing factor? Is that making this drought worse? How are things tied together? Questions that a lot are asking.
Yeah, that was something that he brought up. I mean, we're right in the middle of a drought right now, and these projects use a whole lot of water. You may remember, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, we did a story about Plant Wansley down in Carroll County, the next county over to the south, probably closer to the Heard County line southeast of Carrollton, where they're reopening that plant. And one of the reasons why they're reopening that plant, getting rid of coal and adding new technology, is because of the data center demand, and they want to be ready for that. And some people were upset because they're saying, hey, we're getting too far, you know, building this type of plant, you know, reactivating that plant, because they were concerned, are the data centers coming? And Georgia Power certainly says, no, they're coming, and we need to be ready for that. So yeah, it's definitely something people are really concerned about all over the state.
Kevin, could speak about this with you for a long time, as we know, really important issue for our communities. I'll let you get back to information gathering, and we'll see you again later this evening as you continue to gather information. So Kevin Stewart, thank you so much. As we continue along at 2 o'clock, let's talk about some stories we're following here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Stories that a lot of you are really clicking on fox5atlanta.com, and one of those starts with a special legislative session that our governor has called for the Georgia Assembly. This would be to redraw the state's congressional, representative, and Senate districts. And this executive order directs lawmakers to convene in Atlanta starting June 17th. They're going to redraw Georgia's electoral boundaries in light of the recent United States Supreme Court decision. Now, the governor has clarified this process is not going to disrupt current voting that's already underway, but instead will affect the 2028 election cycle. Think the next president of the United States. So this is something that we're going to closely follow as it moves forward. In the meantime, speaking of laws, let's talk about Georgia's new cannabis bill signed into law. This deals with medical cannabis, and ultimately the governor is expanding the types of medical cannabis products available to patients and increasing legal potency limits starting July 1st. This bill, 220, known as Putting Georgia's Patients First Act, is going to expand access to medical cannabis here in the state. The new law removes previous 5% THC potency cap and replaces it with a legal possession limit of 12,000 milligrams of medical cannabis for registered patients. The legislation also adds lupus and intractable pain to the list of qualifying medical conditions, which would allow you to use cannabis for vaporization if you're over 21 years old. So this is something we're going to closely follow here in our state. I also want to let you know, as far as it relates to Georgia's 13th congressional district, 6 candidates have now qualified for that special election, and they would replace the late Congressman David Scott. The candidates who qualified for Georgia's 13th congressional district are aerospace engineer Cesar Gonzalez, attorney Carlos Moore, former board vice president Everton E.J. Blair II, and a small business owner Faith Park, consultant Marcy Scott, and Air Force veteran Tony Brown. The district district includes portions of Rockdale, Clayton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, Henry, and Newton counties. Governor Brian Kemp previously issued a writ of elections setting that special election for July 28th. And if no candidate receives the majority of the vote, a runoff election will be held on August 25th. Let's talk about something that unfolded in Sandy Springs, because you may have seen this trend on social media called Scientology speed running. Well, one man decided to participate, and this 20-year-old is now facing charges after participating in this trend at the Scientology church in Sandy Springs. Sandy Springs police warned that this trend, which involves filming an unauthorized run through Scientology properties, can lead to criminal prosecution. And while one arrest has been made here locally, investigators are still trying to find several other men that they believe are involved with this incident back on April 29th. The Sandy Springs Police Department posted about this incident on its Facebook page, so we'll continue to keep you updated. I also want to let you know that a former Georgia prison warden has been arrested. You're taking a look at Warden Brian Adams. He's actually been indicted in an alleged contraband smuggling operation tied to a prison gang. Prosecutors accuse Adams of accepting bribes, laundering money, and hiding contraband linked to an inmate, Nathan Weeks, and the YSL squad. The investigation started after authorities looked into the 2021 killing of an 88-year-old Glenville man, and that led them to new details to figure out more as to what his involvement may have been. Ultimately, a Tatnall County grand jury returned that indictment just this week, led by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and they believe that Adams accepted money in exchange for moving Weeks out of solitary confinement and allowing contraband to enter the facility. They also accuse him of laundering money collected to that alleged bribery scheme. So we'll continue to keep you updated as his case moves through the court system. But let's talk about we talked about data centers and the controversy they're generating. Another facility, a massive facility, is also generating controversy here in our local communities. And in Social Circle, the city has filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security over a potential ICE detention facility that would be built in that city. We know the federal government has purchased a large warehouse in Social Circle a few months ago, and we've been covering this story truly since the beginning. So let's get out live to Tara Jabor, who's been following up on this lawsuit. Tara, what are you learning?
Ariel, that's right. We now know that the city of Social Circle has filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security and against ICE. And that's because they do not want them to transform this warehouse behind me into a detention center. Now, as you can see, this is a very large warehouse. There's another warehouse across the street, and this is right off of a highway here in Social Circle. Now, according to the lawsuit, DHS plans to put 10,000 people in this warehouse as a detention center. The city of Social Circle says they don't want it for several reasons that they outlined in this lawsuit. For one, they have major concerns about the sewer and water for the facility. The city manager says the facility was supposed to take about 25,000 gallons of water a day. He says if this detention center takes over the facility, they'll take in about 1 million gallons of water a day, which he says the infrastructure simply cannot do. Now, according to the lawsuit, the city also has concerns in regards to population. The city right now has about 5,000 people that live here, and this facility would hold about 10,000 people, and they say it would also bring another 2,500 people as employees. Now, I spoke to the city manager earlier today. Here's what he had to say.
Put 10,000 people isolated in one facility into a building that wasn't built for human habitation. Their usage demands go from 25,000 gallons a day to over 1 million gallons a day. This is an attempt by the federal government to steamroll all the smaller communities across the country. I'm glad that we're moving forward and trying to put a stop to this.
Now, I did reach out to the Department of Homeland Security, and a representative sent me this statement saying in part, quote, as Secretary Mullen said in his confirmation hearing, I will work with the community leaders and make sure that we are delivering for the American people what the president has set out. We want to work with community leaders. We want to be good partners, end quote. Now, Ariel, of course, we'll continue to follow this lawsuit and see what happens. Back to you.
Tara, thanks so much for the update. This is a issue I know a lot of communities here in our state are concerned about, specifically, like you mentioned, water usage, electricity. What does it look like to have such a massive amount of people in their community and to make sure that things are set up properly to be able to supply that facility? So, Tara, thanks for asking the questions. We'll continue to stay tuned as you gather new information, and we'll see you later this evening. Guys, I'm just getting breaking information I want to let you know about. So, right now, we're getting more information about that stabbing on the Beltline. I want to tell you that we are learning the victim involved in that stabbing has died, according to an officer on the scene. Our Eric Perry is going out to try to gather more information, but we learned just early this afternoon a stabbing had happened on the busy stretch of the eastern corner of the Atlanta Beltline. It looked like near Flagler Avenue. We're trying to confirm where exactly this happened, whether or not police have anyone in custody, and what the nature of the stabbing was, what led up to all of this. As we get those details, we'll let you know right here on Fox Local as soon as we have it. But I want to let you know that tragically we've learned that person has died. Let's continue on. I want to get you the latest updates as it relates to the hantavirus, because we've heard a lot of questions as to what the status of those cases are. At last check, we had 9 confirmed cases of the hantavirus, and those cases are holding steady, but efforts to contain the virus are in full swing. Passengers continue to head home after their time on board that ship, the MV Hondius. A doctor traveling on that cruise ship at the center of the outbreak has been moved from a special biocontainment unit to a regular quarantine unit in Nebraska. And they believe this oncologist, this doctor traveling on that cruise ship, had helped care for passengers who had gotten sick while on board. He developed flu-like symptoms while on board, but the doctor's initial test came back inconclusive. 1 negative, 1 positive. Meanwhile, passengers from the ship are continuing to return home. Health officials are monitoring this situation. In Australia, 6 cruise ship passengers are flying in with full PPE on in an Australian government plane. I have to say, it's really wild using the term PPE, right? Personal protective gear. Been quite some time before we've used that phrase, but it really brings you back to COVID times hearing that acronym. The World Health Organization says some passengers left the ship before the outbreak was fully identified, and they traveled on commercial flights to get home. Some have since tested positive for the virus, so contract tracing is underway. And contract tracing is really what alerted people in Kansas and Washington state that they may have been exposed. Officials are really trying to make sure that crowds are going to be safe ahead of the upcoming World Cup. And while they don't believe the risk of this virus is high, they want to make sure they're prepared. That cruise ship is on its way to the Netherlands, where officials are finalizing cleaning and disinfecting protocols. And you can see that boat there. So we'll continue to keep you updated. I see some of you here in the chat saying, so we all kept our masks. Some masks after 2020, right? And Sav, who made that comment, I have to say, yes, I still have some in my closet. And I still use them when traveling sometimes, because as this situation shows, you just never know sometimes. Let's talk about the president's visit in China, because right now President Trump has wrapped up his first full day in China and then some. He's soaking up the pageantry in Beijing, truly, seemingly making progress with China on several key issues, including Iran. But we've seen displays like what you see on your screen now, jumping, flag-waving children, perfectly in sync military marches. China's really pulling out all of the stops to impress President Trump during his time in Beijing. After all the fanfare, it was down to business. President Trump met with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping for more than 2 hours Thursday. So while it is Thursday today, right now it's nighttime in China. So Thursday, China time. They met for more than 2 hours, and the White House says progress was made on several fronts, including economic cooperation, increasing Chinese purchases of U.S. agricultural products like soy, curbing the flow of fentanyl, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The White House also says Xi agrees that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Though Xi called for the United States and China to be partners, not adversaries. Yet Taiwan is still a red line when it comes to all of this. And Xi Jinping warned that Taiwan could make or break the relationship if the United States were to intervene. President Trump will have another private meeting with Xi before returning here to the United States. He's also invited Xi and his wife to the White House in September. Take a listen to what the president had to say.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great honor. It was a fantastic day.
And in particular, I want to thank President Xi, my friend, for this magnificent welcome. And it really was a magnificent welcome like none other. And for so graciously hosting us on this very historic state visit. The relationship between the American and Chinese people goes all the way back to America's founding. The first American consul to China, Samuel Shaw, arrived on the first American trading ship to reach these shores in 1784. The Chinese merchants had a name for the Americans. They called their visions the New People. 2.5 centuries later, that first connection has grown into one of the most consequential relationships in world history. Thank you again, President Xi, for this beautiful welcome. And tonight it is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Peng to visit us at the White House this September 24th. And we look forward to it. And I'd now like to raise a glass and propose a toast to the rich and enduring ties between the American and Chinese people. It's a very special relationship, and I want to thank you again. This has been an amazing period of time. Thank you, President Xi.
So this is something we're going to continue to monitor closely. Keep in mind, Iran is a big focus for President Trump, as we all know, and we're going to see how this is going to play out, this visit between the president and the Chinese leader. The United States and Chinese officials say Trump and Xi could meet 4 times just this year alone, including a G20 meeting in Miami and the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting in China later this year. So we'll keep you updated as that moves forward. I also want to let you know, as it relates to Iran, we're getting new details about the conflict and where things stand, because Iran has seized another tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, and this diplomatic dispute is threatening to derail relations between 2 Gulf allies at a key moment in the Iran conflict. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced a major diplomatic breakthrough Wednesday, saying he secretly traveled to the United Arab Emirates and met with its president, Mohammed bin Zayed, which it would be a first for an Israeli leader. But just hours later, the UAE denied that visit even took place. Iran is now accusing America's Middle Eastern allies of collusion with Israel, claiming there will be consequences. Iran is also making military moves in the Strait of Hormuz. On Thursday, it seized another commercial vessel, and the British military says it's now steaming towards Iranian waters, which would be a significant escalation after days of relative calm. With talks remaining stalled, some experts are saying a return to combat operations is truly inevitable to move the conflict forward. The White House continues to insist it's looking for a diplomatic solution. Iran's military claimed Thursday is preparing to repel any new American airstrikes in the coming days that could be coming. So we will keep you updated as that moves forward. Taking a look at our timing, you guys, I want to let you know as we continue on, we are going to get a check of your weather forecast with meteorologist Joanne Feldman. It is a lovely spring day outside. Enjoy it while it lasts. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. We're working on a lot of items for your Thursday afternoon. If you're just joining us, we're following the latest on a deadly stabbing on the Atlanta Beltline. Our Eric Perry is headed out there to gather some information. We're working to get more details on that. But in the meantime, I want to let you know what to expect with our weather forecast here. Meteorologist Joanne Feldman has the latest.
I'm Fox 5 Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Joanne Feldman here, taking you through the afternoon forecast. And if you stepped outside at all this morning, but especially going into the afternoon, what you're noticing is a breeze that's gotten progressively stronger. This is because a cold front came through yesterday. It's not a wind that's going to be at a concerning level, but it's definitely a noticeable part of our forecast. We've been watching some of these sustained wind speeds around 10 to 15 miles an hour, but some of our higher gusts are already peaking over 20 miles an hour. That's something that can continue right on into the afternoon here. I mentioned it was a cold front that set all of this in motion. And as expected, unfortunately, that front, when it came by last night, was not much of a rainmaker. It just squeezed out a few sprinkles here and there. That's going to shut down our rainfall chances probably until the middle part of next week. High pressure will be the story instead, and it makes for a beautiful stretch of weather, but it also keeps us in this rainfall deficit and the drought conditions across the state, where it would really be nice to get some bigger improvements. Now, as far as temperatures are going to be around lunchtime and then heading into the afternoon, we're still holding on to temperatures near 70 or below, but throughout the afternoon, they'll rise a bit higher into the 70s. Fact of the matter is they are not going to hit the average highs in the low 80s. I want to give you an update on the drought. We did get new information in this morning. And my apologies here. It shouldn't say as of May 5th. It should say as of May 11th. Each week we get an update on Thursday that accounts for all the rain that fell through the previous Tuesday. So this does cover some of the rain that we've picked up in the last week. But here's the good news, if there's a silver lining in this. Our drought has not worsened, but it really hasn't gotten much better. Last week we had held steady from the previous week. This week we've got the most minor improvements. It's not helpful, but just some changes here that we've seen. The severe, extreme, and exceptional categories of drought have now come down by about a percentage point. But with no significant rain in our forecast until next week, I would expect that next week map looks worse than this one does. After a high of 81 degrees on Wednesday, that's average. We're going to trade that in for mid-70s this afternoon. Records, though, this time of year are near or above 90, and we could tie a record by Sunday. But first up is this: sunshine and mid to upper 70s. We'll keep it clear tonight. The winds that are breezy throughout the afternoon are going to die down a bit. Just brace yourselves for the chill that's in place briefly tomorrow morning. We've got a lot of focus on this big warming trend, but the morning hours tomorrow might catch you off guard if you're not ready for that cooler start. We're going to rebound nicely from that anyway. It'll get up to 80 degrees for Friday afternoon, and there's the weekend warm up. A certain amount of cloudiness Saturday might keep us from breaking records Saturday, but Sunday is a record tying number and will remain close to 90 next week, but the next chance of rain is not until Wednesday.
Joanne, thanks so much for keeping us updated. You guys, I'm working on some breaking news here in the background. I want to let you know we are getting a live interview with a detective as it relates to that deadly shooting on Conley Road. Let's see if we can listen in.
We don't know relationship status yet. Still working on that.
Okay, so they just wrapped that interview up, but for the background, I want to let you know that police are investigating a deadly shooting on Conley Road. This happened just this morning in the 800 block of Conley Road, and when officers got there, they found at least one victim dead on the scene. There's a heavy police presence in the area. You can see just from this live picture alone, at least 4 different police cars. Portions of the road have been blocked off as the homicide unit is investigating, so we will keep you updated as we get any new information. Let's continue on with some other stories we're following here in the newsroom as we work on all of these breaking stories. I want to let you know about something that could affect your summer plans out on one of our many lakes here in Georgia, and that would be an algae bloom on Lake Allatoona. At this point, unsafe blue-green algae has bloomed, and officials are warning you to avoid swimming near that blue-green algae. And this bloom is really concentrated around the Red Top Mountain Park Marina. Water officials say that drinking that water in the area, not Lake Alatuna's water exactly, but if you live near the area, your drinking water is safe despite that algae bloom they discovered May 7th. Blue-green algae can produce toxins that could be harmful to people and animals. So what this real impact is no swimming. Authorities are encouraging people not to go swimming in that affected area because this type of algae can produce toxins that can be harmful to humans and animals. So something we'll continue to keep you updated on. I want to also let you guys know that Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is expanding. Exciting because they're really expanding their footprint in the South Metro Atlanta area. You're taking a look at renderings of the new facility, and this is the Southwest Metro Atlanta area in Adamsville. A clinic is expected to begin seeing patients in June 2027, and another pediatric-focused medical facility in Union City is scheduled to open in 2028. But Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is focusing on expanding pediatric and primary care services on the southwest side. They say this is part of a broader long-term strategy aimed at encouraging families in the Metro Atlanta within 30 minutes to put Metro Atlanta families within 30 minutes of a Children's Healthcare of Atlanta facility, so that they always have access to care. So we'll keep you updated, but the Union City facility is going to include a full floor dedicated to pediatric services, including primary care along with behavioral and mental health. And the organization is evaluating more opportunities for the Adamsville location. So we'll keep you updated as that moves forward. But I'm looking off over to my right. It looks like we are ready to begin in just a second with some more news coming up here in just a little bit. So we'll come back to you guys. We are going to have an update hopefully here soon on that stabbing on the Atlanta Beltline. More to come here straight ahead. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. I want to get to a breaking news update related to that deadly stabbing on the Atlanta Beltline. Our Eric Perry is there live on scene. Eric, it is good to see you. What are you learning right now?
Yeah, Ariel, let me set the scene here. I'm going to move out of the way. So this is the bridge. If you know where the Ansley Golf Course is, this is where they're directing their attention there. That belt line goes between that golf course, and on the backside, that's where that Publix, that Kroger, and Ansley Mall is. So it's a very popular destination. So this particular street, Montgomery Ferry Drive, is cut off and closed off in just this portion of it. My sources telling me that one woman was stabbed here on the belt line. Sky Fox 5 flew over it. I was there with you during the 1 o'clock as we watched it and watched that scene here. I'm told that she did not survive. We're waiting on a news conference. In fact, I was on the other side, on the closer to the Piedmont side here, but they asked us to move to where we are right now to kind of give a little bit more room. And we do know that the police chief and other high officials are coming to do some sort of a news conference and give us an update. Again, this is a very busy stretch of the Beltline here. We're still waiting to get a little just seconds before you guys came to me, we saw officers with canine units. They were searching of the golf course on this particular side as well. We also saw from our helicopter, they looked like they were looking at their attention, searching for some sort of a suspect, not confirmed yet if they have anyone in custody. We're also hearing Mayor Andre Dickens is heading here to the scene. Keep in mind, this will probably be a big talker, the Atlanta Beltline, but we are just days away from the start of FIFA, so that is such a big draw of crowds. The Beltline will be filled, so I'm sure he wants to kind of cool the waters there when it comes to public safety. Of course, when the mayor gets here, when public officials get here, I'm just looking around making sure I don't see his SUV coming here to the scene. But as soon as we learn any more information, we'll be sure to let you know. But again, a stabbing here on the Beltline. This is near the Ansley Mall. If you're just now joining us, in that little pathway that is between. And Zorn, I know you're looking over here. You can see what looks like an investigator taking pictures. So this is a bridge that Beltline runs underneath, just to give that sort of a visual for those who are not familiar with that area. This bridge goes over the Beltline. It goes underneath. This Beltline, if you keep straight, will connect to the Piedmont Park section of the Beltline as well. So, of course, we're going to continue to follow this, and as soon as the mayor gets here and any other public officials that are coming to give an update, we'll be sure to share it during this streaming hour. Ariel?
Okay, Eric, thanks so much for the update. I know right where you are in that Midtown area, so no doubt city officials are going to want to give more information as people are going to have questions about this incident. So, Eric, thanks so much. I'll let you be on the mayor's watch, so to speak, as we await his arrival. As we continue here, you guys, want to keep you updated on some other stories that we are following here in the newsroom. Let's switch it up because we have a really exciting event on its way. The Universal Soul Shine Circus. Our Angelique Proctor joins us live to talk a little bit more about the impact of this event. And Angelique, I understand this is so exciting for students here in Atlanta.
Oh, absolutely, Ariel. I got to say, I believe I got the best assignment today. Universal Circus is celebrating 32 years of being in Atlanta. They were founded right here in Atlanta. They are very proud of that fact. And what we are doing our story on today is the fact that they are actually going to be awarding scholarships to students at the Atlanta University Center. Now, as you can see, Universal is always high energy. It's the type of thing you really can't remain in your seat. I know my husband and I have brought our girls here for years, and boy, do they have a blast. Now, they have been performing in Atlanta with performers from all over the world. That's another unique thing about Universal. The performers are from 5 different continents. The ones that you're looking at now are from Ethiopia. For the first time, though, they've decided to give back to the community by investing in education. Now, the founder and CEO, Cedric Walker, says he's got a very interesting story himself. He used to be a production manager for a group called the Commodores, and they used to open for the Jackson 5. Mr. Walker said he came up with this idea of promoting education based on his own personal experiences. He says that he had a really tough time when he was trying to go to college back in the 70s, and it's been amazing to watch his vision of scholarships at the AU Center come to fruition.
My struggle to go to college, it makes it personal. I begged, borrowed, and stole to go to Tuskegee. Not literally, but I did have to, it was hard. It was hard for me to get the funds to go to school. So that's personal. Atlanta, on the other hand, has such a rich legacy of the HBCU, the AU Center. I mean, it's so important to not only America, but to the world.
Now, Mr. Walker says Universal Circus elevates black culture, which he describes as being global. So a student from Morehouse, Spelman, Clark Atlanta University, Morris Brown, and Morehouse School of Medicine have all been awarded $2,500 scholarships to further their education, which Mr. Walker says is really paramount to success.
Education was as important from our forefathers as the right to vote. And it was one of those were the key: education, right to vote. There was so many came along with freedom. So it's that important, and it's up to us. It's up to us to make sure that our young people are educated. We all have to take our parents took a responsibility in that, and we have to take a group responsibility in preparing the young people for the future.
And the Universal Circus is all about love, respect, and togetherness. If you'd like to get in on the act, you still got time. They're going to be here under the Big Top. We're on Ralph David Abernathy until June the 14th. And then after that, they're going to be going to Gwinnett County. So lots of opportunities to see this spectacular show. Ariel?
Jaliek, wonderful show indeed, all for a great cause. Love seeing the action behind you, different from your usual backdrop at City Hall. So looks like a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy, and our community can enjoy the wonderful Soul Circus. So this is Universal Soul Circus. So I want to make sure I say that right. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but Universal, as they love to say. So Angelique Proctor, thank you so much. All right, guys, let's move on because we are having a busy Thursday. Lots of stories happening. Want to make sure we're covering everything. I'm doing a lot of stuff here in the background, so if I seem a little distracted, pardon me. But let's get out live to our Maria Guzman because she's covering something really important. Maria, I understand this center is opening to try to help victims and their families deal with the aftermath of school shootings in Barrow County.
Yes, in particular, that is the shooting that happened in Appalachia High School about a year and 8 months ago. So this center is called the Branch Resiliency Center, and big emphasis on resiliency because that is how the community describes themselves here. And I'm actually in one of the rooms at the center. This is a room where navigators meet with their clients. As you can see, it's very cozy. They want to just make it very comfortable as they speak with people, and navigators here are basically like mental health coaches, so they serve as a bridge between the client and just making sure they give them the right resources and lead them the best way possible. Now, it's just some of the ways that people are going to be able to heal here. It's all about long-term recovery, and that looks like, you know, just trauma recovery, wellness programs, and family navigating. One thing I learned here is that a lot of people who are going to be coming here are not just students, but also families and parents. So let's go ahead and take a listen about the need that they are serving here. So I think we don't have an interview at the moment, but they told me how for this center, it's something that's been in the works for a very long time since the shooting happened. Unfortunately, they saw that a really big need after the shooting was counseling and long-term counseling, because it takes time to heal from a very tragic event like the one that we saw at September. Now, we saw here a full house. The ribbon cutting happened earlier around noon, and it was full as people got to see just the different centers and the different rooms there are here inside this building. And something that I also learned is that this building right here was actually used for classes when the school shooting happened afterwards and the school was closed for a bit. Some students got to come here to this building to take those classes. So it's kind of like they're rewriting the script here, and now it's becoming a place for healing and center. Now, They're going to be doing yoga, for example. They're going to be doing some art. So just different ways that they can get plugged in that's going to help them just heal, right, from something they experience. So been here all afternoon, and then I'm going to stay with you guys for the 3 o'clock hour that we're going to hear from the director of the branch. And this all came together with the partnership of Ministry Village. So they worked closely with the branch center to make this all happen, Ariel.
Maria, this is a wonderful organization and wonderful work that they're doing. As we know, the scars of violence and trauma carry long beyond just a few weeks, a few months after an incident like this. So sorry we didn't have your interview, but I know you're going to join us at 3, and hopefully we can listen in there together. So Maria Guzman, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again here upcoming at 3 o'clock. Thank you. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, really busy and following a lot of news for you. As we continue, I want to get an opening of an aquatic center in Henry County on your radars. Straight ahead, our Eli Jordan's going to join us, something that you can do with the family, maybe for the summer, how this expansion is helping families and how much it costs coming up. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here on your Thursday afternoon. If you are looking for something to do with the kids this summer and you're in the southern part of our metro area, we may have an option for you. Our Eli Jordan joins us live. And Eli, picture perfect day to make use of a new aquatic center in Henry County.
Oh yeah, the new Henry County Aquatic Center and Water Park, $50 million facility. It's going to open up in June the 20th, day before the first day of summer. And let's check it out real quick. I just walked down a little beautiful causeway, all the new concrete, and they got swimming pools in there, heated swimming pools, Olympic size 50-meter and a 25-meter pool where it's ADA compliant. And then also this is where all the screaming and the hooting and hollering is going to happen. Oh yeah, check it out. It's going to be awesome out here. June 20th, they're going to open up. They'll have a ribbon cutting on June 11th, but June 20th, that's the big day. And if you want more information about prices and all that, you go to swimhenry.com, swimhenry.com. Now, I spoke with Jonathan Penn. He is the Executive Director of Leisure and Public Services, and here's what he had to say about it.
Man, I feel super about the opening of this new aquatic center and water park. It's been 3.5 years in the making, and we are finally here to let the residents of Henry County come enjoy this amenity here, because before this, there was not not many places to swim in Henry County. And so now we're providing this amenity for all the schools, for all the residents, and just people traveling through Henry County to come enjoy this beautiful facility, indoor and outdoor.
Now we see the water park here, but what do we have indoors?
So indoors we have a 50-meter competitive swimming pool. It is a Olympic-sized pool, and we'll do swim meets, we'll do competitions, and then we also have a 25-meter warming pool / recreational therapeutic pool as well, where we'll do programming, special therapeutics, recreation, and other things in there as well.
Now, June 20th, that's the big day, and it's located at 1177 Henry Parkway Connector. That's where you can find it. And also, if you're a teen and you're looking for a summer job, they need lifeguards here. So apply at swimhenry.com. Put your lifeguard application in there. You don't need to be certified. They will certify you. You just need to know how to swim, but they'll get you certified. They'll pay for all that, but they do need lifeguards, and they're looking for teenagers 16 and up to be lifeguards out here. And they need about 86 of them. I'm not sure how many they got filled, but they did express, hey, we need some lifeguards, so please sign up if you're looking for a job. But out here at the Henry County Aquatic Center and Water Park at 1177 Henry Parkway Connector, June 20th, this place will be screaming with a bunch of kids out here hooting and hollering, chasing each other. Well, they don't like you to run, but anyways, you know how it is. They're going to be all splashing each other and having fun and just being kids out here at Henry County. There's no place like it in the South Metro. There we go.
Eli, looks like a lot of fun. I think you have a pretty sweet assignment. Got your shades on, got the water going. Looks pretty good. I'm tempted. I'm tempted. Looks like a great time. We'll see you again here upcoming at 3, Eli. Good place to bring the kiddos. And of course, if you need a summer job, maybe your kid can apply. Your child, your teenager could have that for the summer. So let's continue on with a few headlines we're following here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Want to get you an update regarding some stories that I see you guys clicking on fox5atlanta.com. Over in Mechanicsville, one woman is really fed up with a tent encampment that has started to pop up. Mechanicsville residents say that this growing homeless encampment on Cooper Street has been disrupting their neighborhood. A longtime homeowner, Linda Henley, says tents started to pop up last month, leading to issues with stolen power, fighting, and public urination. Despite pleas to the city for removal, no action has been taken. The nonprofit Partners for Home says they're going to use outreach teams to connect those on site with permanent housing because they want to make sure things are done sustainably. There's no current timeline for when that encampment might be closed, but it is something that we're continuing to monitor. As it relates to the closure of Spirit Airlines, many people are still working to recover refunds and luggage. This is something that many are frustrated with, trying to get their money back. Reports are showing that some Spirit travelers lost their baggage and that thousands are still waiting on their refunds. Consumer advocates advise you, if you have a missing bag, to make a list with everything that was in it in case you need to go through the bankruptcy court process. The advocates say getting the full amount back isn't guaranteed, but one family flying to the Orlando International Airport had to go without their luggage. They said they did not expect the Spirit shutdown to happen so quickly, and it left them stranded. So it looks like we don't have that soundbite just right now, maybe a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we'll see if we can bring that in and let you listen. That family in Orlando was talking about some of their frustrations as it relates to, well, it looks like we have it now. Okay, let's listen.
Our bags and our checked bag wasn't there. And so that's kind of where all of the headaches began.
If you paid with credit or debit, Spirit says that they will refund the cost of the ticket automatically. However, if you paid via another method, say cash, check, rewards, or a voucher, you're going to be in for a long wait.
So if you hear that, if you pay for something with a voucher and not directly through Spirit, you might be in for that wait. Spirit says it is working to refund customers, but I'm curious if you guys are still waiting on a refund from Spirit. What does that look like? Have you gotten your money back? Let us know. As we continue here, I want to let you know that Amazon has launched an Alexa shopping assistant. They're switching up their shopping services that were previously handled by an assistant called Rufus, and now it's going to be part of of Alexa. It will be called Alexa for Shopping, and Amazon says it combines products, knowledge, information from across the web, and powerful shopping capabilities. Powerful shopping capabilities. Well, with your personal preferences, history, and conversations from across both Amazon.com and Alexa, customers can now use Alexa for Shopping to ask questions directly in the main Amazon search bar. So they're combining a search feature with artificial intelligence, and Alexa for Shopping can also create personalized guides for big purchases and view up to a full year of price history. No Prime membership or Echo device is required, but curious how you guys feel about this. It's really another way that they're able to use your data to try to make experiences more tailored to you as they try to improve that shopping experience, but also, let's be honest, as they also try to improve their money incoming with more insight on customer behavior. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you can see this shoulder here beside me. We have Tom Haynes getting ready to talk about what to expect coming up here at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to zoom out here, Tom. Hold your mic up. What's going on, Tom?
Well, Ariel, obviously a busy day in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom as we cover that double stabbing on the Atlanta Beltline. We understand the mayor is headed out to that scene to hold a news conference. As soon as that happens, of course, during the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local, we will take you out there for the very latest on the investigation, in addition to our Eric Perry, who will join us live here to give us the latest information on this tragic situation.
Tom, thanks so much. And thank you guys so much for being here at 2 o'clock. I'm Ariel Onstott. More to come.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes, live with you in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, where we have been on top of breaking news really for about the past hour, where we learned of a fatal stabbing on the Atlanta Beltline. This appears to be random. And as I said, the victim, we understand, has passed away. Mayor Andre Dickens and city officials are either on the scene or on the way to the scene to tell us more about what happened. In the meantime, we're going to check in with our reporter, Eric Perry, who is also there standing by live. Eric, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, when I was anchoring during that 1 p.m. hour, we were able to see from up above. This is Ansley Park, but take a look. You can see on Montgomery Ferry Road here. This is right next to the Ansley Golf Course. No affiliation, I believe, with the golf course. There is a belt line that goes underneath this bridge here, and that is where I'm told that stabbing took place. I'm told from sources that a woman did not survive her injuries from this. We're still working for a suspect perspective. I can hear and see a police helicopter. It is more toward the Midtown location right now, but we are awaiting for a news conference to happen at some point here with top APD officials, but we're also told that Mayor Andre Dickens will come as well. Different witnesses here on the scene report saying or seeing that it was a random attack here, a man possibly on a bicycle. This is all. We'll confirm that information during that news conference that should happen within the next hour. But again, I just talked with one person or several different people out here. One person says that this has been a point of concern, a couple of years ago when they were adding this section of the Beltline, which does connect to Piedmont Park here, that there was some concern with adding it with taxes and that type of thing. And there was another incident, a violent incident that took place. Another person says, they do see Atlanta police officers here patrolling the area on bicycles and different things at that point. But right now we're just working to confirm more information here and more about the details of what happened. But again, this is behind the Ansley Mall. So if you're familiar with where that Kroger is or that Publix is on Ansley Mall, there are different clubs and things that are there. It is right there, that Beltline portion that goes behind it, and on the other side is that Ansley Golf Course here. So Montgomery, between Golf Circle and the road right through there, you can see police have blocked all of this, and they've asked us to move on this side where we believe that news conference will take place. So we're still working to learn just exactly if a suspect is in custody. I know our helicopter was up and they were searching. Looks like police were searching different areas as well, but we don't know if a suspect has officially been detained or charged or still on the run, Tom.
Eric, obviously a busy police investigation scene there. The area closed off. I know exactly where you are, behind Ansley Mall, Ansley Golf Course, Ansley Country Club. I believe that that's a relatively new kind of part of the Beltline that runs underneath that roadway there. It's just still so shocking to hear the circumstances surrounding this murder, which is exactly what it is at this point, and how investigators are trying to piece this thing together and the random act of violence associated with it. As we kind of take a look around at a couple of golfers looking to pass by there, they're probably wondering what the heck is going on. So as you said, when are we expecting to hear from investigators and this suspect that they're going to be looking for? Obviously a very active manhunt at this hour.
Yeah, we're told it could happen between now. I also heard someone yell out the number 4 o'clock. That hasn't been confirmed. I'll send a couple of text messages to those I know in communications to see exactly what time that is. I know we'll share it whenever that does happen. Also I want to point out as well, this is a very busy thoroughfare. The Beltline, very busy in the middle of the day, and we're going to show you just how close we are to the golf course here as well. But I want to remind you, we are just days away from FIFA. So as the thousands of visitors come, the Beltline is something for sure that they will want to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if the mayor is coming to kind of temper or kind of calm down any fears that might arise of public safety as we inch closer to the start of FIFA and just so many people coming in. And I know they're going to use the Beltline and the different portions of the city. So it'll be interesting to see his rationale for coming out. He doesn't show up to every situation that happens. But if this does appear to be a random act here on the Beltline. Of course, that is what raises flags and safety concerns for so many people that live here in the area. And you did mention something very important. This is a newer portion of that Beltline that does connect the Piedmont Park here. If you keep walking down, you'll come to this portion of the Beltline. So, of course, access to so many different arteries here in the city will be something that law enforcement will be sure to talk about.
All right, you read my mind there, Eric, because I was thinking about FIFA and all the publicity leading up to it, and the fact that Atlanta police lately have been really touting the safety record of the city, making visitors who come here feel safe, not only about attending the games downtown, but about using resources that we have, great ones, really, like the Beltline, and the safety of our guests and patrons to do just that. So we know you're going to stand by live on the scene, wait for police officials and the mayor to show up there to give us a better idea of what happened as that manhunt. You could see the Atlanta police helicopter circling there continues for this suspect who ambushed this person on the Atlanta Beltline not too long ago, stabbing and murdering that individual. Eric Perry will check back in with you. Eric, thanks. Also in the news here at 3 o'clock, police in Hogansville telling shoppers to check their bank statements after a credit card skimmer was found inside of a local store. Our Doug Evans on top of this story for us live from the scene there. Doug, what do we know about how long that device was even there?
Tom, they're not sure how long the device was there. What they do know is that similar devices have been found in other Dollar General stores in the South area, including Harris County, I think Waverly Hall they mentioned. So there are a number of police agencies now teaming up to investigate this, along with the U.S. Secret Service, after the skimmer was found on a cash register. So the way that it works is you put your card in, and the card passes through the skimming device into the actual store card reader. And as it passes through there, it reads the numbers and the data, and then you press the buttons and it gives them even more information. So they don't know how long the skimmer was attached to the cash register there at the Dollar General store on Highway 29 in Hogansville. Very popular store. It's visited by not only people here in Hogansville, but Troup County and LaGrange and other areas. So that's a very busy road. So, and a very busy store. So here's what they are advising people to do, and that is, if you use that store, if you've used it in the past week, pay attention to your bank statement. Also, notify your bank, and then follow their recommendations on what to do. Do they want to freeze that card? Do they want to, cut off that card? That's up to the bank, and of course up to you to do that. But police say it might not be a bad idea. So far, and they only found this 3 days ago. So far, they haven't gotten any reports of people being scammed. But it may take a while before those accounts start getting hit.
You know, these credit card skimming devices show up in such weird places, but I guess effective ones. I mean, the thieves know what they're doing. At gas stations, ATMs, stores like the one you're at. But as a consumer, it's sort of an unsuspecting way for me to suddenly realize that I've been scammed. I mean, we know that situations happen where people steal your credit information, and then these charges show up on your statement, and you're like, oh my God, but then to trace it back to kind of one of these devices, the very surreptitious way on the part of thieves to steal our info and then go buy stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that it was discovered, and I'll tell you how it was discovered, Tom. It was a Grantville off-duty police officer who discovered this particular skimming device after hearing about skimming devices at Dollar General stores in this area. And so he was at the store a few days ago, noticed it, called 911, Hogansville police came out. And one of the things that they say, Tom, is that these things literally attach to the regular card reader on a register or an ATM or whatever, and it attaches through magnets or some sort of adhesive. So they said if you can pull on that thing and it comes off, probably a skimmer, right? And I held this one, got to see it, and it's a very lightweight device. I guess it would look normal to somebody. It has the numbers, has the card reader and everything, but you're not actually putting it into that skimmer. You're actually passing your card through the skimmer and into the store's device. So there might be a feeling there of something's not right or whatever. I've never had one, the experience personally, but after seeing this one today, I can see why so many people are fooled.
And so real quick, because I was paying very close attention to what you're saying about the skimmer and it being able to get detached from the device. Are they, if police can capture that piece of evidence, are they then able to more easily track down the suspect who put it there in the first place?
Well, that's a very good question. I think that it depends. First of all, fraud is always a very, very difficult crime to capture somebody and to prove. Second of all, was the information stored locally on that skimming device, or was it being transferred wirelessly, and we've seen that happen, to somebody sitting out in the parking lot or whatever? They would have had to have been nearby. Perhaps, a car was captured on surveillance video or something like that. Tag readers are seemingly everywhere these days. So perhaps if someone was remotely getting that information and was sitting in a car, maybe that would be a good lead for them as well.
It's unfortunate that we have to be worried about things like that, and yet another reminder to always be vigilant about keeping up with our bank statements and looking out for any nefarious activity. Fox 5's Doug Evans with the warning and the story tonight for us. Doug, thanks. Georgia patients will soon have broadened access to medical cannabis, this after a decision by the governor. The Putting Georgia's Patient First Act eliminates the previous 5% THC potency cap, replacing it with a possession limit of 12,000 milligrams. The legislation also expands the registry to include conditions like lupus and intractable pain, while finally green-lighting edibles and vaporization for adults over 21. While smoking remains illegal, supporters say that these changes to cannabis provide faster relief to those dealing with chronic illness. The new rule takes effect on July the 1st. Those states officially have until 2027 to finalize the full rollout of ingestion guidelines. This something that could be very useful for people suffering through pain, something that a lot of us can't relate to, something that a lot of us can relate to. But when it comes to pain and treating chronic illness and intractable pain, as the governor outlines here in this case, a resource like this can be incredibly helpful and come as a tremendous relief to those particular people. The field is set for the special election to fill Georgia's 13th congressional district following the death of longtime Congressman David Scott, who held that seat. 6 candidates have officially qualified for the race, including Scott's own daughter, Marcy Scott, who says that she wants to ensure her father's constituents are not left behind. The other 5 candidates vying for the seat include Cesar Gonzalez, Carlos Moore, Everton Blair II, Faith Park, and Tony Brown. Now, this is a race we're going to stay on top of, not only because of the high-profile nature. David Scott was a long-time serving congressman, but in the balance of power, which many are beginning to wonder how that will shake out in the 2026 midterm elections. As you know, Georgia plays a pivotal role in deciding the political and ideological direction of this country. The district covers portions of 6 metro Atlanta counties, including Clayton, DeKalb, and Gwinnett. Voters will head to the polls on July the 28th, with early voting set to begin on July the 6th. If no candidate secures a majority, of course, here in our state, a runoff election will ensue. Efforts to halt the spread of the hantavirus are in high gear after passengers of a quarantine cruise ship finally head home. In Nebraska, a doctor who treated sick passengers on board has been moved to a regular quarantine unit after initial test results came back inconclusive. Meanwhile, health officials globally are on high alert. 6 passengers are arriving in Australia under strict quarantine protocols, but the World Health Organization warns others may have already traveled on commercial flights before the outbreak was identified. Contact tracers have already alerted residents in Kansas and Washington state about potential exposure. Despite the concerns, U.S. officials say that they don't expect the virus to impact the upcoming World Cup plans, which, as you know, are taking place in several United States cities, including right here in Atlanta. Despite the concerns, U.S. officials say they do not expect the risk of ongoing transmission to remain. Let's shift gears and head overseas and talk about the president being in China during a 2-day, very, very high-profile visit. The president has wrapped up day 1 of that visit and now heads into day 2, where he will be continuing discussions with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. President Trump soaking up the pageantry in Beijing, seemingly making progress with China on several key issues, including Iran. The Chinese coming out and saying that they don't want the Strait of Hormuz to be shut down, nor do they want tariffs imposed on vessels running through the strait. The president bringing in entourage of 30 United States CEOs from really the biggest companies in the world, from flag-waving children to a panoply of pomp and ceremony. The president was greeted in China. China pulling out all the stops. After all that fanfare, however, it was down to business between the two world leaders. President Trump, Xi Jinping met for more than 2 hours Thursday, and the White House says progress was made on several fronts, including economic cooperation, increasing Chinese purchases of U.S. agriculture products, curbing the flow of fentanyl, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. There was a sticking point, however, and that was Taiwan. Xi Jinping saying that Taiwan remains of great strategic interest to China, and that any U.S. attempts to block that kind of access would be troublesome. Let's listen to part of the analysis as to what happened there.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great honor. It was a fantastic day. And in particular, I want to thank President Xi, my friend, for this magnificent welcome. And it really was a magnificent welcome like none other, and for so graciously hosting us on this very historic state visit. The relationship between the American and Chinese people goes all the way back to America's founding. The first American consul to China, Samuel Shaw, arrived on the first American trading ship to reach these shores in 1784. The Chinese merchants had a name for the Americans. They called their visions the New People. 2.5 centuries later, that first connection has grown into one of the most consequential relationships in world history. Thank you again, President Xi, for this beautiful welcome. And tonight it is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Peng to visit us at the White House this September 24th, and we look forward to it. And I'd now like to raise a glass and propose a toast to the rich and enduring ties between the American and Chinese people. It's a very special relationship, and I want to thank you again. This has been an amazing period of time. Thank you, President Xi.
All right, that was President Trump in remarks either before or after that state dinner that the two leaders had. Remember, it's still yesterday here. It's the next day over there. and it's 12 hours ahead, I believe. So it's some 3:22 in the morning in China. And these talks will continue Friday before the president returns to the United States over the weekend. But so far, so good. That comment about Taiwan from the Chinese leader kind of making headlines today in the aftermath of their first bilateral face-to-face. Of course, we'll be continuing to follow every second of this summit as it continues to unfold. Trump did invite Xi Jinping to the United States, by the way, on or around September the 24th for a state visit to the White House. Whether or not that has been confirmed or agreed to yet, well, we'll just have to wait and see. We talked about Iran as it related to President Trump's visit to China, a diplomatic feud erupting between Gulf allies just as tensions with Iran reach a new breaking point. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced a historic secret meeting with the UAE, but the Emirates quickly denied the visit ever even happened. The confusion comes as Iran accuses regional allies of colluding with Israel, warning of, quote, consequences for the disputed diplomatic breakthrough. On the water, the situation escalating after Iranian forces seized another commercial vessel in the Strait of Hormuz on Thursday. British military officials say that ship is now headed toward Iranian waters. Well, we know inflation ticked up recently in the latest economic report. You don't need the government to tell you that. But new data shows inflation came in hotter than expected last month. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that the Consumer Price Index, or the CPI, climbed to 3.8% in April, sparking fresh concerns for economists and consumers alike. Professor Alan Ginn from the University of San Diego says that a spike in producer prices, combined with tensions in Iran driving up oil costs, has pushed the risk of a recession to 40% now. Many other economists would disagree with that. I mean, you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average today, up almost 400 points on news, back over the 50,000 mark, the NASDAQ composite fueling that rise in the Dow. Through AI stocks. We're already seeing, however, the impact of the gas pump with gas prices above $4 a gallon. The economist that we just spoke of warning that the Federal Reserve is under significant pressure to drop interest rates, but he argues doing so now could cause inflation to continue to soar. When we come back here on the 3 p.m. streaming hour of Fox Local, we are knocking on the door of the weekend on this Thursday afternoon. Coming up, we're going to get a check of the weather with Chief Meteorologist Joanne Feldman when we come back. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for streaming with us here during the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. Appreciate you being with us today. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, walking you through all the big stories that are happening today. I want to take you back out live to the Atlanta Beltline, right near Ansley Country Club, right behind Ansley Mall, right off Monroe and Piedmont. This is the section of the Beltline that we're talking about, where right underneath that bridge that you see, Atlanta police tell us that somebody came out of the woods, or the wooded area, if you will, on a bike and stabbed somebody that was walking on the Beltline, killing that person. Now, this just all happening within the past couple of hours. Our Eric Perry is already out there live on the scene. He checked in with us not too long ago, told us that Atlanta police and even the mayor are coming out there to hold a news conference to provide more details about just what happens here. But we know at least one person is dead in, again, what Atlanta police are describing as a random stabbing on the Atlanta Beltline. We do see some folks, I just want to give it 1 second, approaching, because I don't want to miss 1 second of what we're about to hear. That is Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum, right squarely in the middle now, walking up to the microphone. Let's listen in.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Darren Shearbaum, Chief of the Atlanta Police Department, joined today by our Deputy Chief of Criminal Investigations, Prinzina Span, our Deputy Chief of Field Operations, Jason Smith, and then the Commander of Zone 6, Major Andrew Webster. Currently, the Atlanta Police Department is investigating a homicide that occurred a short distance away on the Beltline. At 12:10, we were alerted to a person with injuries believed to be sustained from a stabbing that occurred just north of the Montgomery Ferry Drive overpass, which is where we're at right now. Medical assistance was rendered. That individual was rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital, and unfortunately she passed away. And we do not have any information on the identity that we're able to release at this time. There is an active search underway by the Atlanta Police Department using all of our resources to identify and apprehend the individual that carried out this attack. We do believe that in moments prior to the incident here, the same individual attacked with a rock an employee of the United States Postal Service at the post office on Plasters Avenue Northeast. We believe that individual left that location, traveled on a bicycle to the location where we're standing, committed the knife attack, and then left this location traveling southbound on the Beltline. We have distributed to the citizens a lookout of the suspect that we believe that committed this crime. It is a black male wearing all black with lettering on the back of his shirt that is orange and white, and we believe he is on an orange bicycle. That bolo has been distributed throughout the city. It's been distributed to our partners. Right now, we actively have officers on foot, bicycles, and cars, and our air unit, drone, and canines that are scouring the area trying to identify this individual. Right now, the Atlanta Police Department needs the assistance of Atlantans. Everyone that is in the city right now, we ask you to take that bolo, look at it, distribute it. Your police department is scouring the city. We have officers on almost every area ready to move in when your 911 call is received. Right now, we believe that the rock attack and the knife attack is the only incidents this individual has carried out at this time. We are approaching the release of school in our city, and so we are coordinating very closely with the Atlanta Public Schools Police Department and the other schools of our city to make sure that they're aware and they're coordinating the release accordingly. But right now, our priority is to apprehend this individual. We believe that he picked his victims at random, and we believe that he needs to be apprehended quickly so he can face the justice of the courts here in Fulton County. So thank you for releasing this to your viewers. For those that monitor your social media, if you can get that bolo out right away to be on the lookout that Director Spikes and her team has crafted, that's what we need from our media partners and the citizens of our city at this time. But we're going to catch this person, and we're going to put them, bring them to justice, and we're going to make sure we have justice for this family that's occurred today. Cannot answer a lot of questions, but I will answer those that I can at this time so you can assist us in our search.
Do you know if this individual is unhoused or any surveillance to see where he was coming from?
Well, we're very blessed that the infrastructure of cameras on the Beltline is robust, so we have good photos of him. We just don't have his identity. We do have reasons to believe that he could be experiencing a mental health crisis. That was the initial information that was provided to us.
Do you know where the rock happened, and how do you coordinate with the schools? Are you talking about you just need to
coordinate with traffic or shut down or lockdowns?
So we have been in contact, Major Webster has, with our partners, Atlanta Public Schools. Certain schools were placed in lockdown, and they're now coordinating with extra staff and personnel as children are released for the day.
And the rock location?
That was on Plasters Avenue. Yes, at the United States Postal Facility that's at that in the 400 block.
Chief, is there any reason to think that neighbors around here are in any kind of danger? Do you feel as he's out of this area right now? But do people who live near here or people at Ansley Golf Club or anyone else, what do they need to know?
The message is the same for everyone, whether you live in this neighborhood or you live in any neighborhood of the city. Be alert. Take the photograph of the individual. He could have traveled some distance by now, or he could still be in the area. And so I think everyone being alert, knowing what this individual looks like, calling 911 right away, checking your Ring cameras is what this department needs right now to bring this person into custody.
Chief, what is the status of the Postal Service?
She received minor injuries. She is being checked out by medical professionals.
So I'm assuming her coworker saw that happen, they jump in to help, but then here, who sees this stabbing and jumps in to help?
Let's
and
not assume.
Alerts
Just ask the question without assumption.
Right, we received a 911 call. Don't know who that caller is, but that immediately activated the emergency response network.
What's your message to people watching? We're approaching FIFA. The Beltline is going to be a major thoroughfare for visitors. Just your assurance to the public.
Right, well, this appears to be a random attack. It's also an isolated attack. The Beltline is a place I enjoy regularly. It is well traveled. We have thousands of people on the Beltline every day and very few incidents that occur. This is why we're standing here, because this is a shock. It's an outlier. And we're going to make sure that we arrest this individual and find out what motivated him to carry out this attack. This is a great city to live in and work in. We're going to make sure we continue to drive down the homicide rate that continues to decline for the 4th year in a row. And we're going to continue to attack any act of violence that occurs in our city to make people feel unsafe.
And to her point, we can't assume. So with that rock situation, who jumped in to help that person?
That is all being investigated, ma'am. And we do want to thank everyone that's assisting in the investigation.
If no other questions, make sure you stay tuned to our social media. That's where we'll post any further updates. If not, we will come back and let you all know that we'll gather here. But for right now, it is going to be on our social media platforms. Please do not call us or email us right now because we're very busy. And someone is calling me now.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for what you do. Get that bolo out, please. Okay? Thank you.
From the Ansley Country Club area, where our Eric Perry has been listening along with us to a news conference by the Atlanta police chief about the suspect involved in this deadly stabbing, which happened just after noontime. Eric, the chief giving us some details about, number one, who they're looking for, what kind of bicycle he was on, and yet another incident that this suspect was involved in at a post office not too far away.
Yeah, Tom, the chief now just leaving the scene here, but still very active. As you mentioned, this is Ansley area here, so right next to the golf course. And I'm going to move out the way as you can see the chief and deputy chief as they are walking back toward where this happened here on the Beltline. We're going to set the table for you. This started 12:10. They initially got the call here of the stabbing. So here's how it played out. Whoever this suspect is, whoever this individual is, it started on Plasters Avenue. That is where a postal facility is. I looked it up. Not far from here whatsoever. That is where an employee there with the postal department with a rock attacked a woman. She is expected to have minor injuries and will be okay. That is the good news here. The unfortunate news afterwards, that person came onto that Beltline, which travels behind that Ansley Mall parking lot, kind of right between, sandwiched between the golf course here, and that is where they used a knife on a second victim, a woman who was rushed to the hospital, Grady, and unfortunately did not survive here. The unfortunate news is that both of these appear to be a random attack. As you were listening in, we asked the chief. They do believe that this person might have been, experiencing a mental health situation here, and we want to show you a photo. This is very crucial. Take a look as this African-American male in all black, orange lettering on that shirt, and he's believed to be on an orange bicycle as well. You're taking taken a look at that image that we were able to provide. It's very crucial. Here's what you need to know if you're watching at home. We are now approaching, as the chief said, schools getting out, people getting off from work. So they are coordinating with Atlanta Public Schools and their police department that they have throughout their system to make sure that the person did not go to a school. We don't want anyone else innocent being involved in this particular situations here. 2 people already enough. So they're coordinating with several different schools and the school systems to make sure that they have a safe release back home. And they also said that every different aspect of the city has law enforcement, as it is all hands on deck, a manhunt for whoever is responsible for this. Thankfully for the different images and the cameras that we have here on this belt line, they're able to get those images out there as well. Not sure if we're still up on the picture, if we're back out here live. If so, you can see the police chief walking over this bridge or this overpass. That belt line is underneath. That's where it goes through. If you keep straight going on one direction, you'll head toward Piedmont Park. I asked the question as we're approaching FIFA time. His message to the public is thousands of people already utilize it, but we'll see an increase and an influx of people using such a tourist attack. But they do believe this is an isolated incident, and they're trying to prevent any other injuries or cases in this particular incident as well. So again, they're hoping that anyone who might be able to recognize that person that is right there on your screen will show it just one last time. That is crucial, that if you know anything, say something, as Atlanta police are fanned out. And at one point we saw a helicopter believed to be with police searching this area. It has since moved. Right now, that is the only news conference. At one point we thought that Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens was going to be out here with them. He wasn't at this particular one. There might be something else, maybe when they apprehend the suspect or arrest the suspect in regular terms there. But again, we'll continue to follow this. I'll have a new update for you at the top of the hour, Tom.
All right. It was a good question that you asked about FIFA. The chief quickly responding to you, saying that overall crime is down in the city of Atlanta, that this was purely a random attack, that the Beltline is utilized every day by thousands and thousands of people, including himself, by the way, so that it's a perfectly safe venue. The fact that this even happened was so shocking that it enlisted the entire police force to descend on that area, including none other than the chief himself. So we are looking at that picture with you, Eric. Orange bike. That's the suspect who police believe committed the stabbing homicide, who earlier was involved in some kind of rock throwing incident at a post office, who the chief believes might be suffering some kind of mental health crisis. So the sooner they can get this guy off the street, the better. Eric Perry with live coverage of this breaking story for us this afternoon. Eric, thanks. We'll be right back.
A new chapter of healing beginning in Barrow County today with the grand opening of the Branch Resiliency Center. Let's get out to Maria Guzman, who's standing by live at the center. Maria, what's this all about? What's going on there at the center?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, for here at the center, it's all about building. It just opened up today is when they had the ribbon cutting, and you know, this has been a long time in the works. It's been about 1 year and 8 months since the Appalachia High School shooting. I do want to go ahead and turn the camera around to show you all the resources and the rooms available here. So right here it is the gathering room. This is where a lot of people are going to be hanging out, spending some time together. And in the next room here is we're going to be entering the navigator room. And navigators here are like mental health coaches. So they really act as a bridge between the client and any resources. So really cozy. And right here it's the program room. And today they have it set up for yoga. They plan to be doing some yoga classes as well, but it's all about wellness programs, expressive healing, and family navigating. Now, I did speak to a navigator who shared with me about the needs they are serving here. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
It is. As long as you need us, we're here. Typically, we meet with our clients at least bi-monthly, if not more. We even go out into the community with them if they need any assistance in any other area. We will be offering wellness programs, so there will be yoga therapy, art therapy, music therapy as well. So we will be with them as long as they need us. But the goal is to eventually get them to a spot where they are stable enough to be able to venture on their own. But as long as they need us, we're here. You don't ever think it happens in your little hometown. You know, and that whole day is just a blur of insanity, really. But there was a lot of beauty right after, watching the community pour into one another. I don't think I've ever seen such unity come about, and it's horrific, and it will be a day that anyone here, even in the state of Georgia and beyond the United States, it's going to sit with people for a long time. These kind of incidences and traumatic experiences do not just dissipate. They stick with you. So I'm hoping that through the branch and the community coming together the way they did, that we will be able to persevere and that love truly will prevail.
Community that comes together and truly is a resilient community. The support even from today shows, you know, the love of people just coming together. I've never seen it, and I'm from New York. And I've, you know, had the opportunity to see people willing to leave their home on a Sunday to come to a school and pray together, come together as a community and just do a lot, you know, just to be in community. And I think that's the biggest thing right now, is like seeing everybody come together with the same mind to be unified or united.
You don't have to go through it alone. No one should ever have to go through any of this alone, and we are here without judgment, but literally to help you and walk alongside you throughout your journey. So whenever something arises, you have the support you need.
And this center will officially be open for the public starting next week. And it's going to be for everyone, not just students, but parents, families, even first responders, Tom.
What a critical resource, Maria, such an important one. And I love seeing the enthusiasm surrounding the opening of this amazing center. Maria Guzman. Maria, thanks. To Henry County now, where they are making a big splash down there in McDonough with the opening just in time for summer of a brand new aquatic center. Let's get out to Eli Jordan, who is out there standing by live. Eli, tell us more about the aquatic center.
It's cool, Tom. I mean, the aquatic center is going to be cool. There's nothing in the South Metro like it at all. They got a water park. They got the indoor swimming pools, Olympic size, the half size with a ADA compliance. You can roll a wheelchair in there and then ease out and do some water therapy, which is really good and helpful. And then, of course, you got the water park, which is, the most exciting part of it all. This is a $50 million facility, 3.5 years in the making, and it's going to open to all the little kids and anybody else who wants to enjoy it. June 20th, they're going to have a ribbon cutting on June 11th, but June 20th, they're going to, open up this park here. I'm going to get you a wide shot of it here, and boom, look at that. They got a lazy river, and they got little kiddie pools over here, and then on the inside, right over there, they got those indoor pools. And I spoke to the executive director of Leisure and Public Services, Jonathan Penn. Here's what he had to say.
Man, I feel super about the opening of this new aquatic center and water park. It's been 3.5 years in the making, and we are finally here to let the residents of Henry County come enjoy this amenity here, because before this, there was not many places to swim in Henry County. And so now we're providing this amenity for all the schools, for all the residents, and just people traveling through Henry County to come enjoy this beautiful facility, indoor and outdoor.
Now we see the water park here, but what do we have indoors?
So indoors, we have a 50-meter competitive swimming pool. It is a Olympic-sized pool, and we'll do swim meets, we'll do competitions, and then we also have a 25-meter warming pool / recreational therapeutic pool as well, where we'll do programming, special therapeutics, recreation, and other things in there as well.
Yeah, and what's really cool about this is Henry County High Schools, they got a swim team, but they haven't been able to, they have to go to another county to do their swim meets, do their practice. Well, they're going to be able to come here, have host meets, practice here, and also, too, they have concessions, but if you want to save some money, they're going to have armbands. And if you leave that armband on, you can leave, go to your car, open up your cooler, eat your packed lunch, save some money, come back in, wait 30 minutes before you swim, of course, and then you can swim again. So that's really cool. And another thing, if you got a teenager, 16 or older, you need a summer job, they need lifeguards out here. So they need some lifeguards, and they encourage you to go to swimhenry.com. Swimhenry.com, fill out an application to be a lifeguard. They will pay for all your certification, so you don't need to worry about that. Just know how to swim. And also, too, at swimhenry.com, you can get all the information for how much it costs to get in here, what their hours are, and they're going to open this up on June 20th, where this place is going to be happening, kids screaming all over the place, hooting and hollering, water's going to be splashing, and people are going to be swimming and competing in there, and kids are still going to be splashing and hooting and hollering out here, and all this happens June 20th, Tom.
Little over a month. You're right. Down in McDonough, that's going to be the place to be this summer, to go cool off and have some fun. Eli Jordan. Eli, thanks. When we come back, a piece of history from 9/11 right here in our own backyard. A powerful piece of history here in the metro Atlanta area today as part of a nationwide journey to honor the victims of 9/11. Our Chris Rosenthal is there.
You know, it's hard to believe that 9/11 happened 25 years ago, but we celebrate the 25th anniversary this year, and that's part of why Tunnels to Towers is taking a piece of the World Trade Center across the country. This is that 10,000-pound steel beam from the South Tower. It's making its way across the country and stop here today in Atlanta at the Home Depot headquarters for associates to come and take a look, get up close and touch it. Home Depot, of course, is a big donor and a big partner with Tunnels to Towers. They've been working with them for over a decade. Now, Tunnels to Towers is an organization that helps veterans, helps first responders, helps their families. It started in memory of one of the firefighters that passed away on 9/11, Stephen Siller, and his son, Stephen Siller Jr., was here today. And I talked with him a little bit about his father and why this is so important.
So on September 11th, 2001, my father had just finished working an overnight shift, and he was on the way to play golf with his brothers, my Uncle Frank, my Uncle Russ, and he heard the towers had been hit by a plane. He was a buff. He loved being a fireman, so he always carried a scanner on him, and he heard it come over the radio that the towers had been hit by a plane. So immediately he turned his car around and drove towards his firehouse. On arrival to his firehouse, he realized his unit had already responded. So he grabbed his gear, threw it in the back of his truck, and drove to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. When he got there, they had every entryway for vehicles into Manhattan closed. They didn't know what was happening. They didn't know what was going to happen next. So he grabbed his gear out of his truck and ran through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel to the World Trade Center, where he ultimately lost his life.
And, you know, here today we have this piece of steel, but this is more than a piece of steel. Talk to me about that. What does this mean here?
Well, this is a lot more than a piece of steel. My father's body was never recovered. He's one of about 1,000 people whose bodies were never recovered, and this is what we have of them. You know, they're ingrained into this rubble. So for us to be traveling the country, showing people what occurred that day, the gravity of it, you could feel the weight when you look at this beam. This is a speck of what was there that day. So it really means the world for people to be able to see that, to understand the gravity of what occurred on September 11th, and to also understand what has happened since. You know, since that tragedy, through organizations like the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, the world has been changed for good. So facing evil, so much good has come out of it.
And for over a decade, Home Depot has been a big supporter of Tunnels to Towers, really believing in their cause. They help veterans and first responders and their families, oftentimes providing housing, resources for them across the country, and even here in Metro Atlanta. I talked with Home Depot a little bit about why that's so important to them.
I watched you and I watched your employees as they opened it. What was the feeling when you guys saw this?
Between seeing the steel, between seeing the doors being open, and then they were practicing the bagpipes at about the same time, it's very emotional, and it's going to be a very emotional day, and just something that is going to be really memorable and meaningful for our associates. So we, like I said, we're so honored to have them here with us today.
Yeah, when your associates come down here and take a look at this, what do you hope the message is? What do you hope they take away?
I hope they take away pride in everything that we have done as a country and as a company, and as a foundation. The Home Depot Foundation has invested more than $650 million into veteran causes since 2011, and then we've got our commitment, we're well on our way of our commitment of investing $750 million into veteran causes by 2030.
It's really special to watch people take a look at this piece of history up close. They were encouraged to not just look at it and take pictures, but actually touch it. And you can tell it's very emotional to be here in its presence. Atlanta is just one of over 35 stops across the country, 21 states that this beam will be stopping at. Next stop is Land O'Lakes, Florida. Back to you.
All right. Chris, thanks, and thank you for joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haines. The news continues right here, right now.